This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox Newscast. Welcome, everybody, to the XC Podcast, episode 192. I'm wearing green. I never really wear green, Mag, but it's St. Patrick's Day, and my daughter, it's her birthday today. She would punch me in the face if I wasn't wearing green. How are you?
I am fantastic. Yes, it's St. Patrick's Day today, but for me, St. Patrick's Day was yesterday because tomorrow today's my day off. Tomorrow I got to return to work super early before the sun gets up. So no partying and drinking for the mag today. So I did that yesterday, and it was magnificent. I had a good time. And you know what? This was something I do. I did a little video yesterday on Twitter, and I'm like, every year I buy 1 pint of Guinness. And I just sit down and I drink it before I drink my regular stuff. And I'm like, let me just try this Guinness one last time to see why I don't like it. I can't do it. And I've been doing this for like 30 years. I just take 1 sip of Guinness. I'm like, nope, not for me. And then I just go back to my normal stuff. But something happened yesterday, something magical, folks. And you know what happened? I really enjoyed it. And I actually drank the whole Guinness. Yeah, I drank the whole Guinness. And I was like, you know what? That was really good. I wouldn't be able to drink it all night. Like, I don't know how some people have like 7 or 8 pints of that stuff. I can have 1 pint of that, and then I can go back and drink 10 pints of my own beer. That's no problem. But for whatever reason, I just can't do it. But you know what? The tides have turned, folks.
What is it? Guinness is like the brown coffee looking beer. What is it that makes it? What is it that makes it so different? As a guy like me, I've never even tasted beer. The closest I've gotten to tasting beer was my brother left his apple juice out in our bedroom, and it started to smell like beer. But I wouldn't know.
I drink a lot of beer, but anyways, that's besides the point. But for whatever reason, Guinness it's bitter. It's slightly bitter, or whatever else. And it basically almost has like a coffee kind of flavor to it. So mix of that, like that bitter and the coffee and the whatever else, and it's not carbonated either, right? So like there's that too. So you're kind of getting that sort of vibe to it. So it's an acquired taste, and it
could be like a bitter flat beer is what it tastes like to you.
Sort of, yeah, exactly.
It's a stout. Says Dead Time.
It's a stout. Sean Kramer, I saw what you said earlier, by the way. The Colt and Pony podcast. All right. Well, I see how it is.
No, yep, I mean that works because a colt is a young horse, and you're a pony, and it works perfectly.
You know, the whole second half of the show, we're talking about PS5 only, just for Sean Kramer. But that's it. It's PSSR for 60 straight minutes. Anyways,
when I got everything rolling and I was getting you into the show and we're getting ready to do our thing, like you were just ranting and raving. Apparently, your week has been absolutely horrible, and you've been like ninja kicking people left and right at work.
Well, yeah, work has been a situation, but it doesn't matter. It's okay. I'm here, and you know what? On top of it, last week I did release quite a bit of content. I did a nice little video there about Oblivion. Got some excellent views out of that. Couple thousand views out of that video. Then I had a couple live streams. Split Fiction was. I'll tell you right now. I know you're gonna say, "What are you playing, Meg?" I'm just gonna tell you. Split Fiction is magnificent. And so far right now, it's a 9.5 out of 10 for me. It's my game of the year so far. That doesn't mean it's going to end there. We don't know. We're only in March. But so far, it's the best game I've played this year is Split Fiction. What a magnificent achievement they've done. And the funny thing is, it takes two such a great game. This is just leagues above. And it's just so much fun. It's so engaging. It's so intense. It's just breathtaking to play, man. And even the people when I was playing it, the people watching the stream, 2 people who were watching the stream were like, "Mag, I just bought it." After watching you play, and they're just like, I've been watching you play for the last half hour, and I just bought the game right now. I can't wait to play this and that. So like, people are really getting, as soon as they see the gameplay, they're like, "Holy crap, this is awesome!" So I've been doing that. I've been playing a little bit of Astrobot here and there, trying to get a couple more trophies out of that one. And then I got one more gripe for you. And this is the only gripe I've got. Is Final Fantasy 16 is really starting to piss me off. And I got to tell you, man, I don't know how much more I could take of it. And it's just, the quests are just getting so ridiculous. It's like walk 100 yards and then there's a 10-minute cutscene that is completely and utterly useless. Then you got to walk another 50 yards that way to talk to this guy, and there's another 5-minute cutscene. And then they send you back to the first guy to talk to him again for another 10 minutes.
Banger.
And you're not doing a goddamn thing. You're just walking from A to B and then C and then back to A. And then anyways, then you get in and then all of a sudden you fight like a, I don't know, like a chocobo or some walking bush or something. And then you fight something.
Singing bush.
And then you
singing bush from Three Amigos.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then you nice pull. You fight one guy, you fight one enemy, and then it's like 40 more minutes of no gameplay.
I couldn't even do the demo. The demo was driving me crazy. It has so much
dude,
crap.
I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. But the thing is, I'm so far in now that I feel like I just got to get through this. Getting a platinum on that game is absolutely off the table. I'm telling you that right now, because required to get the platinum, you have to play the game again. There is no scenario where I'm going to go back. I don't care if you could skip through cutscenes. It is so boring that I don't know. I could barely want to get through this game. And you know, the thing is, the combat is fantastic. The graphics are great. The like the abilities and stuff that you have are amazing. But there's so little gameplay. I swear to God, it's 10% gameplay, 90% bull crap. So like, it's not worth the 10% so far that I'm playing that I'm like, oh my God. And the funny thing is, they're about to announce very soon, they're going to be announcing Final Fantasy 16 for Xbox. I'm not downplaying it, but holy good God. I have played a lot of games with a lot of dialogue. Look at Witcher 3. But the thing is, with Witcher 3, it's still 75% gameplay and 25% dialogue, right? Like you're out there in the world, you're doing missions, this and that, and you don't have to get into all these cutscenes. This is literally non-stop cutscenes. It's beyond irritating. Anyway, sorry. And what were you been playing this week, my friend?
After Mag goes on like an absolute dissertation about a 87 Metacritic for Final Fantasy 16. Yeah,
It's not a bad game. It's just so boring. It's just 10% gameplay.
Bro, I don't have a chocobo candle in the window waiting for Final Fantasy 16 to come to Xbox. I mean, I can play it on PC, and yeah, I'm not going to mess around with it. Probably not. It's been a crazy week since I last talked to you guys. I'm playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, but this is like one of those big games. They give you 2+ weeks because it takes a long time to get through most of the content to review it. And I have never had so many excellent interruptions that have kept me from finishing the game. The embargo's tomorrow morning. I am probably 3/4 of the way through the story. I have no idea. I mean, I can't even really say that. I shouldn't say anything like that, but I'm not ready to review the game because on Tuesday afternoon, after the podcast last week, I flew out of here and went to Los Angeles to play hands-on Doom: The Dark Ages. I can't even tell you how much time I spent playing the game. I can't tell you all those details yet. That's all under embargo, but I will have a preview of my time with Doom: The Dark Ages on this channel on the 31st. So that took out a good almost 3 days of my review period time. And on top of that, I helped my oldest daughter buy a car, and she went and bought a manual transmission car. So we went and bought it. She went and paid for it and did all the big kid stuff. And I drove it home with her, and we had a great talk on the way home. Like, it's an hour and a half home, and we talked in the car because we didn't listen to the radio, and we just had a really good talk. And I was talking about driving the stick thing, and then I spent a couple of days teaching her how to drive around town and drive in a parking lot and kill the car over and over. Really great experience, but I was like, I really need to get back to reviewing Shadows, but playing the Doom: The Dark Ages and hanging out with your kid and getting a car is like really been a good week. And when I was talking to you at the beginning of the show, you were like, work's kicking my butt, and I'm like, well, I had really good distractions, so I was pretty happy. The news for today's show is kind of interesting. Some stuff kind of spills over if you watch my weekly news video that I put out every Friday. But Mag and I are going to kind of get into it. So I have not played Split Fiction. I have not even installed it because I wanted to wait until I was done with Shadows, and then my son and I were going to sit here and play it, and I didn't even install it. I mean, we would have never have played it yet Also, there's some other family good stuff that's sprinkled in there. It's my kid's birthday today. So this has been, if I was actively trying to get this review out for embargo, which would be like 10 a.m. tomorrow or something, if you're on the West Coast, I would be so stressed, but I'm totally good with it. But you guys will all find out what everyone else thinks of it. I'll get my impressions up and some cool screenshots I've been taking tomorrow. But yeah, that's what Meg and I have been doing. Today we're running that show early because we're going to hang out with family tonight. And I thought Meg and I would just kind of do a quick show for you. We appreciate everybody here. There's almost 300 people. Hit the like button if you appreciate the show. Thanks to all our channel members and Patreons who are scrolling above here on the overlay. And we will get into the news. Today we're going to talk about Ubisoft's IPs, which we didn't really get to dig into. It kind of broke after last week's show, Mag. And I want you to lead a lot of that discussion. We'll talk about Oblivion, some stuff with Xbox's releases coming this year, and Xbox at GDC kind of revealing some things. So we'll get into that. But first of all, I thought I would start with the Ubisoft stuff, because you and I have talked about so much Ubisoft news, like almost every week. And I'm sure you've kind of dug into this. You've been making content about how Ubisoft might want to sell some of their side content IPs, or not their mainline ones. And I think we kind of dug into it last week a little bit, if I remember right. But I don't know. I thought I would ask you, what Ubisoft IPs would they be looking to sell off, and which ones do you think they would keep? Have you given this some thought?
Well, the thing is, a lot of this hinges on Assassin's Creed Shadows. A lot of it. Because if this game bombs for whatever reason, then nothing is safe, right? Because this is supposed to be one of their ironclad IP that really brings all the kids to the yard, as it were.
Speaking of drinks that bring kids to the yard, why don't you quickly tell people about what drinks could bring them to our yard and to everybody else's yard with an extra booster of energy?
Well, funny you say that. There is something else that brings everything to the yard. And you know what that is, ladies and gentlemen? 4xpgaming.com, ladies and gentlemen, right here, 4xpgaming.com. And let me tell you something. 4xpgaming.com ain't no Final Fantasy 16. It's not 10% action, 90% bullcrap. 4XP Gaming is 100% action, ladies and gentlemen. 100% action. There are no cutscenes. There are no boring elements. There are no dialogue trees. It is nothing but action. If you're watching Gonzo porn on Pornhub, it is nothing but action. No storylines, just the goods. And let me tell you something. 4xpgaming.com is exactly that. All action, no dialogue, no story necessary. We get right into the goods and we get right into the action. Go to 4xpgaming.com where you can find all these fantastic flavors. As you can see, Colt is rubbing them all over his body. And you know what happens when that happens? His skin becomes bulletproof. That's right.
Yeah.
If you actually take 4xp gaming, if you go to 4xpgaming.com and order some of their energy drinks, you know what you can do? You can rub them on your body. It makes you bulletproof. All of a sudden, you're going to be Superman, or you're going to be Superwoman. You're going to be Supergirl.
None of these claims that Mag has made are backed by the FDA, but
it doesn't matter. They
4XP
don't need to,
is
they
delicious.
Don't need to know everything. 4xp is delicious. It's wonderful. It's easy to use. It's low in caffeine, so it's not going to make your heart explode. It's not too heavy on the sugar either. And they're even working on something else, which is going to have even lower sugar for people who have some sugar issues or whatever, or want to keep the sugar levels down. They got some new formulas coming as well. So you got to go to the website. You got to go check it out. And you got to order it. And I'll tell you something else. The people that have been buying it have been sending me pictures, and all of my DMs, Colt, I know the same thing's been going on with you. They're sending pictures in the DMs saying, "Yo, man, check it out. I got my shipment, and it's awesome. I love this flavor. I'm reordering." And no joke, someone actually got one, not even 3 weeks ago, and he's already reordering the same flavor again, another tub of that, because he loved it so much. He just wants a backup so that when he finishes that one, he's got a backup ready to go. That's what you want to do. Colt, tell them what happens when you go to the website and you order some of this 4XP.
Thank you, Mag, and back to me. No, XNC 2025 will get you a code of 20% off. I put the link in the chat as well. It's in the description. And check out 4XP for delicious flavored drinks when you're playing your games. We appreciate them as a sponsor.
Absolutely.
They're
an amazing sponsor. And you know what the other thing is too? They're always there. There was someone who had an issue, and I reached out to them. They fixed the issue within an hour, and the package was already resent to the person's home, and it was all taken care of. It was Sith Lord, to be specific, and it was dealt with instantly and professionally. and quickly, and they had it all organized and sent out, and it was done, and it was over with, and boom, they got their product, and off we go. So you know what? Great company, accessible people, wonderful people on top of all that. And listen, those are the kind of people you want to support. You don't want to support some faceless corporation. Why would you do that? As we talk about faceless corporations for the next
like
2 hours.
Ubisoft, yeah.
like Ubisoft and Microsoft and Sony. But you know, it's besides all that, these guys are very personal, and that's the kind of business you want to support, man. You want to support the small business. This is what you got to do.
Yeah, 4XP also watches the shows, and they're in the community, so we appreciate them. You were talking about Ubisoft and their IPs, like which ones you were kind of starting off first before. Right. You gave me such a hilarious segue. I had to take it, but sorry.
I know you had to jump on it, dude. You had to jump on it. You want a lot of it riding, and I know people are in the boardroom there, and they're saying that a lot of it is riding on Assassin's Creed. And the thing is, as I said, Assassin's Creed is their ironclad IP. This is something that doesn't fail, generally speaking. Even the ones that didn't do so great still did incredibly well for them, like Assassin's Creed Unity. You remember that one that was like it was in shambles because of all the technical glitches and everything else? It still sold incredibly well.
Yeah, and Valhalla sold really well, even though it's not the favorite. Mirage was the one that was just a little bit down, but
which sucks because actually Mirage was better than Valhalla, my personal opinion.
Before we get into what you're talking about with Ubisoft franchise, you say it hinges on Assassin's Creed. Since you're not reviewing it, like, what are you expecting to see with Shadows tomorrow? Like, why don't you talk to us about what you think the Metacritic is going to be? What kind of like player base or sales? What are you expecting from you watching on the outside?
I'm expecting a culture war, and what I'm expecting is the media is going to be giving it praise, and the users are going to be bashing the living crap out of it. That's what I'm figuring. It's just the same as everything else. It's just like all this culture war stuff that's going on and whatever, whether it's Hollywood or whether it's gaming, the Gamergate 2 and all that stuff. So I could picture a lot of that stuff going on where you're going to get like the media's going to be like, this is great. However, I also think that they're not going to score it as high as people think. My guess is that it's going to be low 80s or high 70s. I'm sitting somewhere around 82, 83. I've seen a ton of gameplay. I've seen a ton of I've spoken to a lot of people, I've gotten their impressions and everything else who've been playing it. Not you, because I didn't ask it and didn't think that was nice or fair because you're not supposed to talk about it. But other people have volunteered their information and told me, yeah. So, anyways, know a lot about it. I'm sitting. I would like to say I'm sitting at about an 81, 82.
What gives you that impression? What gives you that?
Just the unevenness of the gameplay. From what I understand, the two characters are so vastly different in their gameplay, which is wonderful. It's a great idea, but it doesn't always translate into gameplay in terms of smooth transition within the missions, right? And I've seen some things like, for example, like you're trying to sneak around with like Yasuke, and then you're trying to crawl across like a rope, and he's too fat, so he falls down, and then he breaks the rope, or he can't climb up a 3-foot. You know what I mean? Like a 3-foot, like wooden fence or whatever. And then you're like, okay, well, this guy is like hopeless at at any kind of traversal whatsoever. The other one is a little bit, is obviously much more agile, but at the same time is too weak to face certain enemies. So a lot of it becomes this, basically you're doing compromise. A lot of like trial and compromise. I'm trying to come up with a better word than that. I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of, a lot of trial and error. That's what I was. And then the thing is, as there was a lot of trial and error, some of it is fun, and then a lot of it I found from what I've understood from people playing it is it gets really frustrating because like you just want to play the game, and then you go in there and you're like, ugh, I can't do it. So then you got to go back and then you got to change characters. You know what I mean? And then they said you have to keep doing that, and it gets so irritating after a while. It's just like, you know what? This is stupid. It's not seamless. It's not fun. It's disjointed as a result of that, and those are the things that I'm hearing about from people who are actually playing the game in its entirety, right? And so there's a lot of that. So
that's crazy. I have to like have poker face while you talk about this.
Yeah, I know. You're supposed to have poker face on. I don't give a rat's ass because Ubisoft didn't give me the code for that because I'm playing something else from Ubisoft. Well, at least I game tested something else from Ubisoft. Anyways, that's a whole other story. And that's in jeopardy too. But we will get into that in a little bit about the selling the IP.
How about, before we move on from Shadows affecting Ubisoft's near future, How about sales or like what's the word? Concurrent players. Like, do you think that number will be good? Or
you know what? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Assassin's Creed, a lot of them just sell because of the name. People will buy It's kind of like Call of Duty. Like, people will buy because it's such a juggernaut IP that people will buy it just for the name. But the thing is, I don't think Mirage did incredibly well. I remember it was on sale like 6 weeks after it came out, and I bought it on sale and I loved it.
I liked it too, but it was a low spot for modern Assassin's Creed games. But it is good. Like, I'll tell people, if you can find it for around $30, you should buy it.
Oh, yeah.
It just had a problem with the combat. The combat just didn't feel, you were very, very limited. But the rest of the game, it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say. The combat's not that great, but no, Mirage is definitely worth playing it if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, but it's not going to win you over like to the modern. It definitely doesn't really feel like a classic Assassin's Creed to you, Mag, does it?
Right.
Mirage kind of feels like a mix.
No, actually, I found it to be more of like a classic Assassin's Creed where they stepped away from the RPG elements of Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, where you actually got to level up your character, the gear, and all that stuff. This one, you could do some of that, but like you didn't have hit numbers on the characters and stuff like that based on your strength and all that. So it didn't play like an RPG. It played like an actual old school Assassin's Creed. Gray Monad in the chat, he's like, it's all about tactics, Mag. Yes, it is. Yeah. But when you don't know what you're facing the first time, because it's not like it gives you an overview of the level saying, all right, in this level, you're going to be doing this, that, and the other thing. You're just going in there blind. Not blind, but like somewhat blind.
I can't say
anything. I know you can't say anything, but it's like trial and error. You go in there with one character and then you fail miserably. You're like, God damn it. And they have to go back and then change characters.
I mean, I could speak on the preview, but it could just come off like I'm talking about my overall experience. So I just won't even bother. You have to give big respect to a company sending me early access to review a game. I don't want them to feel like I was skirting like the envelope there, but I think you described that pretty well. So what we're talking about, if you just joined us, and welcome to the show, hit the like button. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts on demand. But if you're here live, you're watching us on YouTube. Thanks for being here and being in the chat. We appreciate all of you. See you over there. Meg and I are talking about Ubisoft reporting last week, or it was actually kind of leaked from an insider investor that said that Ubisoft is looking to position themselves to sell some of their IPs. And I reported on this because we know that they wouldn't be looking to sell Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, or they have like a couple big, like Ghost Recon. I think that would be like their big three flagship franchises. Like they wouldn't sell that. That's their bread and butter. But they could possibly sell off some of their smaller IPs that either have floundered or have been kind of dormant. And
but then if they've already floundered or are dormant, there's no interest in them. So why would you bother selling them, and who would buy them?
Well, I mean, I say floundered or have kind of not been revisited. One of them is Rayman Legends, which I call Rayman. People always correct me in my video. It's Rayman. Yeah, Rayman's amazing.
Is a fantastic series. Yeah,
it's actually Rayman Legends and Origins is probably one of the premier platform games out. Yeah. That's been around for a long time. It doesn't have many rivals, but they haven't revisited the franchise since like 2015 or 2013 or something. My kids and I have played that thing till the freaking silicon flew out of the Xbox. But would Ubisoft sell Rayman as a platformer to like Xbox? Like Xbox could use a great poignant platformer or a relevant platformer besides just having Crash and Banjo, which nobody wants, and Conquer that nobody really wants. They pretend they do. But like if Xbox, if you heard rumblings behind the scene, Mag, that Xbox wanted to either revive Banjo-Kazooie or they wanted to buy Rayman, what would you say to them if you grab?
I would take Rayman. but the thing, I would take Rayman in a heartbeat. But the thing, here's the thing though. Who says there's two things I want to discuss on this, and I've had my thoughts on this, but we've never really gotten to the discussion. Mostly because these news items always come out like 1 or 2 days after the podcast, so we have to sit on them for like 5 days, right?
I know,
like the news on these things, it always sucks. However, there is something to be said about who's got time. That's my question. Is these studios aren't sitting on their hands waiting for someone to throw an IP at them, right?
Not Xbox
they're doing
studios.
stuff. Yeah, they're doing stuff. No, they're doing stuff. So the Sony studios are doing stuff too. They're just taking forever to do it, but they're doing stuff, and no one's got time to say. They're like, oh crap, here comes an IP. Let's finally do something. I was getting tired of playing checkers. Like, they're not doing that. These guys are busy doing stuff. So if they did purchase an IP, let's say, either one of them, right, Sony or Microsoft, you wouldn't see it for like years. Because most of these studios are already working on something. They're not going to drop what they're doing. They're not going to stop State of Decay 3 just so they can pick up Splinter Cell.
Yeah, Xbox studios are either halfway through or about ready to launch their game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I said that same thing in my video, Mag, that you just said. Xbox could buy something like Rayman or another one we'll talk about in a minute, another franchise.
We'll see in 10 years.
But who's going to do it? They're all busy.
Yeah.
They're all actually spoken for. But But Xbox could buy the IP and then third-party partner with another studio to make it. And
but isn't that what they're just doing now with Ubisoft? Might as well just stay where it is and just own the IP.
Yeah, I don't.
But like, just leave it in their hands and be like, okay, listen, we bought the IP, but Ubisoft, you're going to continue to develop it for us.
Or the other way around, Ubisoft can say, we're having problems managing our projects and our programs. How about we commission Xbox to make another Rayman game, and they can do it and we'll oversee it. Either of those could work.
Montreal, like I could say, like, let's just say for argument's sake, let's say Microsoft is interested in this. They can go to Ubisoft Montreal and say, hey, we're going to commission Assassin's Creed Coven just for Mag and Colt to play. Because we want to play an Assassin's Creed game with witches. But anyways, you could go to Ubisoft Montreal and say, hey, listen, guys, we're going to commission this out of you. We're taking 70% because we own the IP. Ubisoft Studio, obviously we pay the overhead, and then we'll give you the 30, and then you take the 30% on top of it, and you just operate as a subsidiary of the Ubisoft Corporation, but you're still there. Like, the studios are there. The Ubisoft Toronto is half an hour from my house, or about 45 minutes from my house. Right? And they've done a lot of big title games too. I believe they were the ones who were Assassin's Creed Mirage as well. And they worked on Valhalla. Right? And they're doing some work on Splinter Cell. Whoops.
I think the problem...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the problem is... Let me pull up the quote real quick. I think the problem is that Ubisoft might want to sell off... thank you, nice bright white screen in my face. Ubisoft might want to sell off their franchises to kind of recoup losses from major failures they've had.
So you sell the IP, you still utilize your studios, but the person who buys the IP takes the 70% publisher's fee on top of any other licensing fees on top of that, right? So it's basically just an investment. So you're not buying the studio, you're not buying you're just buying the IP itself. But the Ubisoft studios, I think, would still be able to operate independently of the entire company if they decided to fold, because you could just still have the company there making the game. But Microsoft, let's just say Microsoft or Sony would have to pay the overhead, take the 70% for themselves, keep the studio open, and let them operate independently. That's how I would do it.
Yeah,
Preston, knock it off.
I think
making me laugh. Sorry.
I think what this report is outlining is that because of mismanagement and horribly managed franchises and development for games, that they've lost so much money that Ubisoft needs
got too big.
Yeah, they need to sell off franchises so they can become lean and more flexible and be able to stay alive. And you're so right when you said at the beginning of the show that Assassin's Creed Shadows fails, it's going to really tell a story of where Ubisoft goes.
Dude, I know as a fact, I know the people that are working there saying if this does not hit, we are in deep trouble. They are counting on this. Sorry, I wanted to specify what Preston was saying. He just made me laugh because I look over and Preston wrote developers. And all I could think is that fat, sweaty guy. Remember that from like 25 years ago? Developer.
Steve Ballmer.
Developers. Yeah, with his sweaty armpits and his like.
Can't believe he's wearing a blue dress shirt. He is soaked. He is soaked.
Well, dude, look at the size of him.
We need that.
Yeah, he's like he looks like a. He looks like, yeah, right. He looks like a seal, like an oversized seal from like a Marineland. Like, yeah, developers. Yeah.
Now he
Anyways,
runs like an NBA team, like the Knicks or something. It's crazy.
the Knicks. And
Pass
with
the
his
ball,
sweaty
pass the
shirt.
ball. I got to read this quote
They have
from.
to mop the sweat because it gets on the court, so they have to mop around him constantly, so that the players.
The guys
don't
are
sweat.
standing on white towels while he's like telling them to do the pick and roll. I love that. This quote from an investor says that Ubisoft is horribly mismanaged by current management and wants a clear roadmap for recovery. So,
right,
selling off their IPs would make them a bunch of money and trim them down so they could be more, they could manage themselves. As we mentioned during our Q3 sales, the review of various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options is ongoing. I read this in my weekly news video. It was so wordy. So to extract, I'm going to skip forward to extract the best value from Ubisoft's assets and franchises from all stakeholders. Ubisoft will inform the market in accordance with applicable regulations once the transaction materializes. According to this report that was all wordy that nobody liked that I just read, is that they want to sell their franchises to position them to be more marketable and more manageable. So EA and Microsoft were two hats that were thrown in the ring, according to this report, to say, we'd like to look and see what you have for sale. And we could say Rayman Legends all we want, or Rayman as a franchise, but if you're an Xbox fan, you know that somebody needs to take the reins and buy Splinter Cell from Ubisoft. And I don't think, my guess, Mag, would be that Splinter Cell is not a tentpole or a flagship franchise currently with Ubisoft, something that they're like holding on to, that has strong brand recognition that continues to print money for them year on year, because they are not utilizing it. They are working on a reboot right now, but the lack of communication with Splinter Cell just tells all the real fans, let Xbox buy the Splinter Cell franchise, and Xbox can figure out who can make it. Right now, People Can Fly, the team behind Bulletstorm and Outriders and Gears Judgment, is working on Project Maverick, an Xbox title just for Xbox from People Can Fly, that studio. Now that's Xbox global publishing market ship right there. So if Xbox wants to buy the Splinter Cell franchise, because Phil doesn't want to borrow franchises or pay to license them, he wants to own them, so that they don't have to work through all that. How long does this game last? How long can we make this? What are we paying in? When you buy Spider-Man 2, you pay a lot of money to Marvel before you can turn around and make your own money. Phil has said that he would rather own the franchises. And I'll bet you if they put Splinter Cell on the menu, that Xbox would say, is this something we want to buy? Do you think they would buy Splinter Cell?
Well, they could probably get it for fairly cheap, comparatively speaking, because I know a lot of us graybeards out there who were playing Splinter Cell 25 years or 20-something years ago.
It was 25. Yeah.
It was, dude. It was basically 25 years ago. And it would actually be a good fit for them, because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Splinter Cell kind of synonymous with Xbox anyway? Like the games were coming. Yeah. So
black and green.
It kind of fits the whole narrative, whatever. I played the original Splinter Cells all on the did I play any on PS2? Were they back that far? And then I remember 360, 100%. 360, I was playing basically
I think they were exclusive at first.
Titles. Yeah, they were exclusive at first, and then they got ported over, and then I was playing them mostly on the 360. Anyways, the thing is that you realize basically an entire generation has passed since then in the human race, where we've had millennials and then Gen Zers, or whatever they're called, who have no idea what Splinter Cell is.
Yeah.
Right? So it's big for us, but we are now becoming the minority of gamers out there, because there's such a huge influx of younger gamers who have absolutely no idea. However, it would be probably wise for them to get their hands on it, see what Ubisoft has been working on Splinter Cell for 3 years now, right? The new one.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, I don't know, like, what do? Do you release that first and then sell the IP? Because they're basically done the game. Like, the game is basically done. The only reason why they're not doing anything with it now is there's some tweaks and polish going on, but it's also not a good year to release it. because there's so much huge stuff out there that's coming out this year. There's no point in trying to release, you're trying to cram another clown in the car for the circus show, right? Like, it's like, how many clowns can you fit in the bloody car? You know what I mean?
So fitting for Xbox too.
Yeah, like you're trying to shove another clown in the car. Like, guys, there's already 16 clowns in the car. It's already funny as it is. We don't need a 17th clown in the car. So they're probably going to push it to 26, right? And so that being the case, what do? Do you just hand it over as is and say, here you go? Probably not, because they're going to say, we put in all the work for this. We're going to take whatever profit we can from it, and then we'll sell you the IP. Right? At that point, they're not going to sell you a complete game. And if they did sell you a complete game, they want to recoup obviously their development fees. Excuse me. Sorry, I was trying to figure
developers. The voice crack makes it perfect too.
I know. They're going to want to recoup their investment. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
They want to recoup their investment, and then on top of it, a projected amount of profit on top of that is part of the sale, right? Because they could say, well, listen, we're projecting about 2 million, 2.5 million sales. If you want this title, you're going to have to pay the profit, or pay what we would have made in profit for, let's say, an approximation of 2.5 million sales, plus the development fees, plus the overhead, and then with the developers, and then you could pay.
That's a new rule. If you say the word developers or develop, we have to say it like Stu Ballmer. That's even in the chat.
Fine. Yeah. You're not going to pay for the developers. You're just going to pay for the IP. The developers are just going to do whatever they. I just still think what they should do is hold on to those studios and just have them as freelance. Like, the problem with Ubisoft is that there are too many studios all over the world, and you cannot manage what you've already. You spread too little butter on too much toast. At this point, right? And you've got studios all over the bloody world, and you can't control everything that's happening when it's spread out like that. They should have kept it smaller, more focused. If you want to keep it in Europe, keep it in Europe, or North America, whatever, or maybe just North America and maybe one or two studios in Europe, and that's it. But by going everywhere else, there's just it gets lost in translation, no pun intended, but it really does get lost in translation when you've got too many studios, too many moving parts, and you can't control the product. As a result of that, you lose control, the quality control. That's number one. Number two, you're losing focus as to who's doing what and what's doing who. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is always doing, and that's the problem when corporations get too big and spread out to too many countries. You can have big corporations in one country, but it's very hyper focused because you're in one area, right? And you can control what's going on in the product that's coming out of it. And as a result of that, you know what I mean? When you got 47 studios all over the world, Colt, you can't control. What the hell are these guys working on? What's this guy working on?
Well, I mean, like I could read off the 28 studios, whatever that Xbox owns, and I could tell you that they're all working on something, and I could probably tell you what project they're working on. So they're all busy. Like, if Xbox could acquire the franchise that is Splinter Cell this year and just say, look, we're going to pay the money, we have that, and when we find a suitable third-party partner, or if the initiative wraps on Perfect Dark at the end of 2026, and we're like, you're perfect for Splinter Cell. And they would be perfect to do a Splinter Cell game. Say, no rush, we own the franchise. Anything that is related to that franchise could be a residual revenue stream for them, because Ubisoft just basically put the Sam Fisher character in like Wildlands and Breakpoint, and they've because they were setting it up for the Splinter Cell game that's coming out. Yeah. Right? They were doing it for even way back in 2017. They were putting Sam Fisher and stuff, but I got to read. It was already in conceptual stages, dude. It was already in a conceptual, like the Splinter Cell game was already in a conceptual stage at that point. Oh, it's been forever to get a green light on it. Which is insane. And then the other thing, like, I wanted to expand. Sorry, I know you're about to read Super Chat. 8 years ago, bro. 8 years ago. Well, I mean, Phil Spencer also announced Fable 8 years ago too. Oh, I mean, not officially. Remember, he did, didn't he? Don't you remember? More on that soon. Apparently, soon means 8 years in Spencer talk. Remember that 2017 on the stage. He said, and we're applying Playground's open world prowess and open world knowledge on a new game, but more on that soon. Fast forward 8 years. 2019, it's still not out. Back in 2019, Aaron Greenberg's like, "Can you take off that Fable character on a graphic I made for them?" He's like, "Can you take that Fable character off?" And I'm like,
and now it's going to be 8 years from when he told you that. Sorry, 7 years. So the point is, another thing I want to expand on very quickly is that, like, for example, one of the Ubisoft India studios was working on a Sands of Time remake. Remember that? The Prince of Persia Sands of Time? They showed a trailer and it got downvoted to hell because it looked like shish kebab. And then all of a sudden it just disappeared off the face of the earth. And you know what I heard from some of the people working there? They said they weren't watching that studio at all because they were literally across the ocean. They were worried about the studios that they had in North America. They were focusing on that. They just let them do their thing. But by letting them do their thing, you don't have your thumb on the pulse of what everybody's up to and what's going on. And so what happens is your product becomes diluted to the point where it's just not focused enough. And look at that. And now how long has it been since they showed that game? 3 years? When they showed Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time remake? It's disappeared off the face of the earth. 3 years later, you're not going to find it. Imagine the tens of millions of dollars that they spend in development time and wages and overhead and everything for that game, and it's still not even out. Or there's not even any chance. I mean, there's probably even a chance it'll never see the light of day.
Yeah, right? And they promised Beyond Good and Evil was like making a reemergence, and that they were working on it. And yeah,
Skull and Bones they were working on for like a decade.
I don't know what happened. Like Ubisoft used to crank out like 2+ amazing games every year.
Yes.
Honestly, Meg, developers have had such a hard time.
Yeah.
This past 5 years, like all of them have had a hard time. But Ubisoft just continues to have games that just like they're flapping the wings and they're not going anywhere. Let me read these.
Go ahead.
Amazing supers. Brad War Fight, thank you for the channel chat or the channel membership chat. He says, "Did you hear Oblivion is coming to Xbox according to Nate the Hate?" We've been talking about it for months, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. We've got a little bit more news on that. My good friend Red Wolf Renegade, thank you so much for the $5 super, says, "Cole, it's time to give Stalker 2 another chance. Take a deep breath, grab some sugar-free Werthers, take some anti-rad, and get into the zone."
We don't have time.
I don't have time right now.
We don't have time. There's too many games coming out. It's ridiculous.
I have to finish Shadows, and then I got to play Split Fiction for 20-some hours to get like the best experience this year. And then maybe, no, I don't have time because I'm going to try and play Split Fiction, and then South of Midnight's probably coming for review. It's insane. I also got to make a Doom the Dark Ages video, and then Claire Expedition, and well, there's more. We'll talk about it. There's so much more. Like going back to games is going to be so difficult. Game Seeker, thank you so much for the Canadian 5, says, "Have a good stream tonight. We are doing our best." Brad Ward, fight. Oh, I already got that one. Okay, I got that. Blah, blah, blah. Whoop. There we go. Do you know the Broke Boy Insider? Thank you so much for the $5 super, says, "I played about 18 hours or so of Avowed, 7 hours yesterday. Broke my record for the longest time playing an RPG. I'm not an RPG guy. I stopped. I'm a return to Fior." I'm glad you're liking it. My good friend Zocker87 is absolutely loving Avowed right now, and it drives Gaz and Fonz crazy because they won't play it and they hate it. Love it. Speaking of Fonz, I don't know if you guys remember, if you remember, Mag, but back in like February, I was playing Death Stranding on Xbox when it came to Xbox, and I was absolutely loving it. Fonz was giving me so much crap. He's like, "That game's boring. All you do is press triggers to win. What are you doing?" After the Death Stranding 2 trailer we saw last week, he's like, I think I know what you're talking about, Colt. He goes and buys it on PC, plays the whole game in a week. He gave it a decent score, but he was head over heels, loving the whole vibe. And so shout out to Fonz for not apologizing.
Can I ask a question? I never played Death Stranding, even though apparently to some people I'm a pony. Sorry, I'm a gamer. But no, I never played Death Stranding. It never really enticed me. I just didn't find it to be something that drew me to it. And which is funny because I play almost every Hideo Kojima game that comes out, but except for that one. Now, the thing is, was there a lot of, I heard the cutscenes that were egregious in that game as well, like brutal. Like some of them were like half an hour.
Fonz was complaining about them, but I enjoyed some of it, even though you don't know what's going on. The game is much more than...
that's like... Yeah.
Just walking, this is going to sound so stupid, but just walking is enjoyable because you're maneuvering around the terrain and you're feeling the tension, and the vibe and the music and just the atmosphere, and then the fear of being caught, which you can walk for a minute and you're like, am I going to run into a dangerous place? And you usually do.
Right.
It is much better than most people say it is. And I just think it's hilarious that people said I crapped on it for years and they found one tweet where I was quoting fanboys, but I covered that a while ago, but people are dumb. What?
He said that's what ponies do, not buy first-party games. I do buy first-party games. I just didn't buy that.
You're a pony?
Well, dude, I'm just a gamer, okay? You can call me whatever the hell you want.
I know.
I follow the games. I don't care where they are.
Put a thumbs up in the chat.
On that cabinet, then hey.
Put a thumbs up in the put a thumbs up in the live chat with a thumbs up emoji if you love Mag. I'm gonna let me put one of those.
Don't do that, dude. You're just egging on like violence.
There we go. I couldn't find one, so I did a red ticket and number 1. There you go.
Maverick, you scumbag.
I was on Spawn Waves podcast on Saturday, and this is the first time I've been on a fairly big podcast. Yeah, it was a really, I mean, that's a big channel. He's at 750,000 subs. And we talked about Xbox news and stuff. And there was one guy in there who goes, why'd you have him on? You should have had Mag. I was like, oh, that's cool. Oh, they're putting thumbs down. Oh,
I told you that was going to happen. I told you, you're just inciting problems. You better be joking, guys. I'll find every one of you.
But Preston goes, Mag brings balance to the show. That's so true. Yeah, put a thumbs down if you don't like me as well.
Oh God, Jesus, dude, what are you doing?
You have to live in the danger. Let me move on.
You're gonna be featured into someone else's show where they're gonna be like, and Colteastwood got many thumbs down after he asked.
Oh, bro, did you know that you're gonna love this, Mag? Icon Era did an entire thread on their forum, a public forum about gaming, about Gaz's YouTube channel not getting enough views.
I agreed with them. I actually said that Gaz was a scumbag too, and I said send me the link so I can actually vote on it as well. I was all in. 100%.
Oh my gosh. You know, the funny thing about that, all jokes aside and all seriousness included as well, is that Gaz puts out about one video a month and he only has 6,000 subs, and they were making fun of him. Gaz gets 60 to 75% view to subscriber rate, which is 3 times higher than I do. You know, that would be like, I have 100,000 subs. That would be like me being getting 80,000 views on every single video, you know, and I don't. Right. It just doesn't go that way. And so he's failing to gain traction. Yeah. Snowdragon says Gaz just a lazy content creator. He works really hard.
I agree.
He waits too long to put videos out because he has so many things, social things going on, personal stuff, work, and then I'm like, dude, you need to just buckle down and say, today's the video, today's the day. But yeah,
no, he's lazy. I agree with that. Thank you, Snowdragon. I agree with you 100%. I hope Gaz is listening to this. You know what? He might actually be listening to this because we're on earlier, right? So it's a little bit earlier in the UK.
Well, he's probably
what the hell was I
doing mushrooms right now or gummies or something. Snowdragon, send your Venmo to Mag because he owes you for that compliment. So
let me tell you something. Ricky Womack, he remembered my last stream I did 4 days ago? 3 days ago. No, it was 3 days ago. And I was playing Split Fiction, and there's a part where you're in a fantasy land kind of thing, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And my son's character turned into, I can't remember what, some kind of an animal or something. And like a I can't remember. Anyway, either way,
I'm blind to the game, by the way. But yeah.
Okay, and then I turned into a fairy, right? And I didn't want to be the character that dude. And I said it, and I go, yes, I'm a fairy. and I said it, and I sat there for about 10 seconds, and I went, please, nobody clip this. Please, nobody clip this. I'm like, if Risky for the Biscuit ever hears about this, I'm never going to hear the end of it, of me literally going, yes, I'm a fairy.
Red Wolf, if you're watching the show at 51 minutes, I need you to do a quick clip of Mag proclaiming, yes, I'm a fairy. That's gonna be great.
And I did it so enthusiastically.
I want to do
because I was excited because I like to fly in games, right? So
I want to do like a house remix of you going, yes, I'm a fairy. Yes, I'm a fairy. Yes, I'm a fairy.
Yeah, no, dude, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah,
Magnum, where the hell were you on those streams, by the way? I streamed Thursday and Friday. No Magnum. So the chat was wild. The chat was wild. There was nobody watching, and you know what I mean? There was nobody controlling anything. You're the only sheriff in town, dude, and you weren't there.
It was a wild time.
But me doing that, and Ricky Womack, of course, reminds me about me screaming, "Yes, I'm a fairy," and I did it way too enthusiastically.
There. Shout out to you, Ricky, for keeping an eye on Mag. If you also want to subscribe to Mag's channel, if you open up the description here on the live show, you'll see a link to his channel, The Mag Show, and you can go subscribe and show your support.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
My last video, I almost got 2,000 views on it on the
Oblivion?
on the Oblivion thing. Yeah, awesome. It was great. I was very happy about that, and 1,500 on my Gears of War collection release information and all that stuff.
See, that's at like good, 60 to 100%, sub to view ratio that you're getting. That is like unbelievably great.
It's growing, and I'm happy about it. And the thing is, the people that are watching, generally speaking, except for like one or two people, are just like so like, hey man, I just love this and this and that, just really enthusiastic about it. And then a lot of the same people that check out the things come and check out the live streams, and I chit chat, and I kind of turn it into a podcast. So it's just cool. Me talking, and then but the fun thing is when I do Split Fiction, my son and I decided we're going to do couch co-op. So he sits next to me. So the two of us play on the screen together as opposed to online. So whenever he does something, I punch him, or he slaps me in the back of my bald head when I screw up or whatever. So we have a lot of fun, but it's kind of cool doing that. But like, let's do something different. Let's couch co-op this in front of the camera. So that's what we're doing. Speaking of that,
that blue number sends a generous $5 super chat saying everyone should watch Mags play Split Fiction with the Wolfman, who's his son. She says it's a great game, and she also streamed it on her new channel. Check out that blue number. I think if you see her in the chat. Or
she's in the chat.
If you see her in the chat, I say if you see her, you can click her name and go to her channel and subscribe if you want to see game streaming stuff. She also is brewing stuff behind the scenes. This would be a fitting time to say I'm super excited that on Thursday and Friday, my wife and I are flying to Chicago. I've never been to Chicago, and we're going to go see and hang out with that blue number, Holly, who's also a podcast mate, good friend, and all that stuff. So we're going to see her, and then also while I'm in Chicago, I might visit another person.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't Randall Snore over there?
Yeah. So I'll have to.
Why don't you egg his house for me?
because
I'll buy the eggs.
Because eggs are like $15 a dozen, bro.
Dude, I will pay for the eggs.
Is there?
I'll buy the eggs. I want you to egg his house.
Wait, this reminds me, when I was on the plane, I was listening while I was off the air or off the internet. It auto played our podcast from like a year ago, and I was complaining about eggs and how my mother-in-law, like, she buys 72 eggs and we have to dye them all, and then she tries to pawn them off on my family. Here, take these home and eat them, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
The other day, my wife goes, "We need to tell my mom, do not buy 72 eggs because eggs are really expensive. It's a waste of money." So I'm really looking forward to this year with the egg pandemic that we won't have to take home a bunch of smelly sulfur-ridden eggs. But
yes,
I'm a ferret.
Scott Gamer dude, yeah, man, that's a good Black Sabbath pull there, dude. Thank you.
Hold on.
No, he says that the fairies wear boots. That's a Black Sabbath song for anybody who knows.
It is.
Hey man, it's a great song. Yeah, man.
It's an
Aussie Black Sabbath song called "Fairies Wear Boots." It's a great tune, man.
Okay. Still wreaking havoc. Thank you so much for the $5 super. Says, I would definitely buy an $800 console Xbox if it was powerful and it was a hybrid that also played Steam games. Good graphic cards are already $700 on their own, I'll add. I saw someone in the chat take exception to Still Wreaking Havoc's comment saying, but why won't you buy the most powerful console, PS5 Pro, for $700 then? I'm like, he just explained to you when he wrote that, whoever that was, this thing would also play Steam games. It'd also be a PC. It would have far more value and flexibility than a PS5 Pro. So heck yeah, you'd want to buy one. So also remember, his whole library comes with him. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Still Wreaking Havoc, for that comment. Grandpa's Barbecue, Gabe Cat, thank you for the chat. Says, don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss Mr. Eastwood starting early. And when I first read that, I thought he was going to say, you never miss Eastwood. Mrs. Eastwood, I hope you... What movie is this from? I hope you two are considering the future, Mr. Eastwood.
That would be Back to the Future 3.
Bro, I didn't think you'd get that. Nice. It's like such a small line that no one remembers. Thank you. You're amazing.
Well, that's because Michael J. Fox called himself Clint Eastwood when he went back in time.
You know, that's
right, because he knew that no one would know his name.
You know, that's probably, when it's all said and done, that's probably my favorite Back to the Future movie. Even though 1 is amazing and 2 is amazing, there's something about the old West and like the whole feel of it. I don't know. It's one of my favorites. Do you have a favorite?
Well, the first one is obviously like lightning in a bottle. It's like there are like a handful of 80s movies that are just perfect films, and Back to the Future 1 is a perfect film. I believe Quentin Tarantino said that. He's like, Back to the Future is a perfect movie. It's like there's nothing wrong with it. There's no flaws in that film. The first Karate Kid, the first Ghostbusters.
Yeah, like, man, we were so spoiled when we were kids.
Dude, we were spoiled.
Sorry if you guys are like Gen
Jesus
Ys
Christ.
or whatever, and I'm sure you probably watched those, but
Die Hard, the first one, 1987. Same year, by the way, as the same director, John McTiernan, released Predator, the first one of Predator. And like, you've had the first Predator and the first Die Hard from the same director come out in the first year. They are the most iconic action films of all time. RoboCop came out the same year. Are you kidding? Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me. You know,
what's better, RoboCop or Johnny Five? Short Circuit.
Obviously, Johnny Five.
Obviously. I would like to watch those again. I remember as a young person we rented them and I really liked them. But what would they be like if I watched them today? Short Circuit is a movie for you young people. It's a movie about a robot that's like kind of sentient and he's kind of like a Steve Urkel robot.
Yeah, I see the chat is going nuts. The chat.
Groundhog Day is amazing.
Groundhog Day, Evil Dead. There's so many iconic films in the 80s. If it bleeds, we could kill it. Great lines from Predator. I mean, sir, you're bleeding. I don't have time to bleed. Great lines, man. They don't have lines like that anymore. Schwarzenegger sticks a steaming pipe through a guy, sticks him on the wall. Stick around. Let off some steam. You know, the lines like that. You don't hear that anymore. Let off some steam.
Those are the lines I'd use when I played with like my action figures. I would always use those stupid puns. Stick around.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ricky Romack is as old as us. He says Short Circuit made me sad.
Welcome to the party, Rick. Yeah, great lines, man. Anyways, carry on. Let's get back to gaming.
Michael Larson with the $5 super. Thank you so much, Michael. Says, would you guys say Ubisoft or WB, Warner Brothers IPs overall, are more appealing? Another great show. Thank you, Michael.
WB has better IP than Ubisoft because they just own better IP.
They're bigger.
You know what I mean? Like, huge.
But what about the games? When you look at like the 3 most popular WB things, like Mortal Kombat, Batman, and
you can say Hogwarts Legacy, but that's a one-off. But I mean, that's sold 26
which
million
you probably
copies,
are a WB fan more than you're a Ubisoft fan.
Monstrous. Now, here's the thing, though. Ubisoft makes better games, generally speaking, because
right now
they have their pedigree has been like a lot. You know what I mean? A lot more consistent than like WB. Like, of course, Mortal Kombat. We'll leave that one. But like Hogwarts Legacy is just one game. Yes, they released a bunch of other games, but they weren't made by Ubisoft. Remember, the old Harry Potter games were made by EA. You remember that? Remember they had like Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and then they had the Half-Blood Prince, and they had Order of the Phoenix, I think it was. And
didn't they also do the Lord of the Rings games, the movie tie-ins? Who made those?
They did, yes.
Yeah,
that
EA?
was EA as well, right? And they had all those. So they were basically, EA was doing all the WB licenses, right? Essentially, right? You remember how amazing like the Two Towers action game was on, way back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. Those were incredible games. Return of the King, and it was basically like Golden Axe, right? Like you and a couple of buddies would go out there.
It looked like the movie back then.
Dude, it was awesome. Those were fantastic games. But the thing is, WB carries better titles, but Ubisoft produces better games. Except for Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat, which is only 2. But, Ubisoft has a long line. Look at the Assassin's Creed games. They have like 20 Assassin's Creed games, and most of them are pretty damn stellar. Right? That's quality right there. Even I even like some of their other ones. Like Avatar was a great game, gorgeous game. I loved it. I really enjoyed that game. And actually, pretty soon in between once I'm wrapped up. Well, I'm basically wrapping up. I'm going to be wrapping up South of Midnight. I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be playing Star Wars Outlaws. And I played the first 5 minutes and I was like, this looks fantastic. So I'm like, let me give it a shot, even though people say it's crap. I'm like, I'm going to play it anyway because Ubisoft makes great formula games that I enjoy.
Yeah, and it's improved. Game Seeker, my buddy, it's on in the chat often. He picked it back up after all the fixes and said it was great. Dante, another good friend of mine, said it was good. I'm kind of like, Outlaws is one of those where I need to wait until I have time to play it to give it its due because, I had a rough start. But I won't hold it against it, like some people do with.
Yeah, but dude, you got a lot going on. I mean, you got South of Midnight. I only have South of Midnight. You've got South of Midnight, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Doom.
Yep.
In the mix.
And then maybe Claire, and then Adamfall. Yeah, when Red Wolf's like
playing those games, but are you reviewing those other games? Are you officially?
I'll probably review South of Midnight and Doom, of course, and I don't know if I have to see if I like. You don't have to like a game to review it, but I have to see if I'll actually be playing through Claire Expedition. Like if I like it, and I want to play the whole game, then I would consider reviewing it. Maybe there'll be a preview for that, so I can know for sure. Because I don't typically play turn-based games like that. I have a couple of times, but anyway. Grandpa's Barbecue Game Cat with another super chat. Thank you for the Australian 5. Says, Colt Mag, am I a bad person because I say out loud, now I've got the Domio grin every time I see a Canadian Brianna Morello? I don't even know what is that?
That is well, you got to be Aussie to know some of that stuff. Domio grin is it's a tomato sauce commercial that they have over there, and then when you open the can and smell it, they have this you have a big stupid smile on your face. Anyways, this Brianna Morello is like a super hot podcast chick. So I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. That's what I'm assuming he's talking about.
Aren't we?
Is she? Yeah. What the hell? Grandpa Barbecue. I'm hot. Colt's hot.
I want a Domio grin every time you see our old catcher's mitt of a face drop onto the show live. Yeah, I mean, look at me.
Catcher's mitt. I don't have wrinkles in my face, dude. My face is pickled beautifully from all the excessive alcohol abuse that I've done over the last 30 years. This is perfectly maintained. I'm basically like one of those, like those fetal pigs that you get that's in formaldehyde.
Yeah,
that's what my face is.
You're
like
a pig
at all
in a
times.
jar.
I'm sure my liver looks the same. Yeah, developers. Yeah, my liver's probably doing the same things. Probably sweating, wearing his dress shirt, sweating, going, please don't drink anymore, Mag. Please don't drink anymore. And then I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'm just going to have a glass of water. And he goes, oh, thank God. And I'm like, back to work, bitch. And then I grab another beer and then I shove that down. Yeah. I'm like, oh,
can you imagine after Steve Ballmer does one of those conferences and he's just dripping sweat and they go out to eat afterwards? Can you imagine the spread that he lays down on the table after working off those calories?
Dude, probably a gigantic chicken parm sandwich with fried eggplant, mozzarella cheese.
Have you seen that dude on Instagram screaming it up with his belly bouncing?
Yeah. I've seen that guy, and he's got the stomach that moves like a belly dancer.
Yeah, and with the music. Let me ask you guys a question. I was going to ask you this. I was going to message you. I was at the hotel after I wrapped the Doom Dark Ages thing in LA, and I had some downtime, and I watched the Under the Bus podcast. And Boner Jams is a guy that you'll see super chat every week, and he's on this Under the Bus podcast. My brother's on there, and they just talk about whatever. They do this segment, Mag, where they pull up funny Instagram reels or TikToks, and they play them live on the show, and they react to them, and they talk about them. And I thought, that's a really good idea. And I thought I would keep an eye out for video game or you and me related stuff. And I might throw that into the show towards the end to see if you guys like that. I thought it'd be fun because they were laughing their heads off. Like a guy going down one of those carnival slides and smacking his head so hard. And they did a great show.
Yeah. I love that stuff. Yeah, that's fantastic. By the way, our little talk about 80s movies was so powerful. I look at the chat and they're still rhyming off. That was 10 minutes ago. And they're still rhyming off their favorite 80s movies in the chat. Fantastic, chat. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. When we go off topic, you guys make it so worth our while. I never forget that. I love that. Okay, let me get back to the Sith Lord. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. You started an hour early, Mag. How could you? Well,
what do you mean, Mag? What the hell did I have to do with it? It's his fault. He asked me to go. No, it was actually totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, real life stuff is going down. Put the cookie down. Yeah, thank you, Ryan Hodgson. Yeah, another great line. Liard Bone. Where is he? I just lost what he said there. He said something funny.
Oh well.
He said Scalebound is dead. He said Scalebound.
Oh, I saw that.
We know.
Yeah,
we know.
Dead.
We know. I actually wanted to keep coming back as a topic once a month,
so we can say,
so we could just say it's dead again. Yeah. Oh my God. What did I say like a couple of weeks ago? I'm like, stay dead, please. Just stay dead. I don't even want you to revive it. Leave it alone. Don't bother that team. What the hell are they called again?
Platinum.
The guys who did was it Platinum Games?
Yeah, I mean they make great games, but
they do.
That ain't
games.
it.
Yeah,
for real. Yeah. Do you know the Broke Boy Insider? Thank you for the $2 super chat. Says
yes.
Mag's new slogan is "Yes, I'm a ferret."
Oh my God! Oh man, what an absolute embarrassment! I'm actually kind of happy that was early in the stream, that there weren't that many people watching, but the people that were watching did catch what I said right away. They're like, what? And I'm like, I'm a fairy on the screen. I'm a character. I want it to fly. Because it was a hard traversal level. There was a lot. Yeah, no kidding. There was a lot of like open water areas where you had to go from like little island to little island and jump around. And then actually there's one part where you actually change into a giant Groot, and you have to shoot your roots and then grab onto stuff, and then you can pull like bodies of water like bodies of land towards you and stuff.
I want to play that.
So good.
Yeah, that blue number.
I am telling you, man.
So
good.
You and Wolfman and that blue number have been streaming the game all week, and I've only like logged in and not watched and just listened, and then I'm like, I can't listen, because one of the great things about It Takes Two was when they present you with the level, and you're like, and I'm normally like fine with, like, we've talked about this so many times, like we don't like get bent out of shape about spoilers, but for some reason, Split Fiction, like,
I do.
Yeah. I mean, I watch enough gameplay and I'm like, okay, I'm good. And I just kind of look away. I don't make a big deal about it. But for Split Fiction, I really I want to be presented with the stuff. And
there's a sequence that takes place in a Cyberpunk 2077 style city.
Oh, man.
The graphics are stunning. Just the vistas alone are just like, holy crap, is this the same studio? Like, I mean, Hazelight makes amazing games. They always have. Their games have always been magnificent, but it's just, this is such a step above that you're just like, this went from like AA to AAA. Like, you just see the quality there. And then there's a whole sequence with like light cycles, like motorcycles, like in Tron, and jumping and throwing whips and pulling yourself and shooting and explosions and all kinds of stuff. It is amazing. And when you're doing it, you got your mouth open the whole time. You're just like, because it's just so much stuff going on, and it's so exciting that, you know, when you go watch a movie in the theater and you're watching like a just incredible like action sequence, and you're not even eating your popcorn, you're just sitting there with your mouth open going, holy crap, look at this. And you're just watching this like this amazing like action sequence unfold. That's what this game is like. So it takes it so far above that where you had the ingenuity of It Takes Two, where you're fighting a teddy bear or you're shooting a nail gun and then, you know, the other person's jumping on the nail gun. This one is like bombastic Michael Bay level action sequences. So it's just like ba-boom, like up here. It just shoots way up in the stratosphere. Amazing game. Absolutely amazing. I so far, I'm about halfway through the game. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10 early impressions.
Yeah, my friend said he would give it a 10 out of 10 if he was doing a review. He said it was just the best thing ever.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Carry on. Let's get back to the show.
I mean,
Salt Addict, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Great movie.
Oh my gosh, they're still putting movies. Someone said Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Still going.
You know what? I'm not a fan of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Not a fan. Not a fan.
Weekend at Mags. Okay.
Weekend at Bernie's was hilarious. Sean Kramer, thank you so much for the NT 170. Says, love from Taiwan to Colt, my favorite pony.
Yeah.
About to go teach the youth and listen to them talk about Brawl Stars and AOV. All the way from Taiwan. That's really, really cool. Thank you, Sean Kramer.
Awesome, man.
We appreciate you for being there. Snow Dragon says, with a Canadian $2 super chat, thank you, buddy. Cole, are you still eating burgers without the buns? I wasn't eating I wasn't eating like animal style, whatever they call that, burgers. I kind of stayed away from hamburgers over the past 5 months, but
all right.
I have not been eating properly over this past couple of weeks. Like when I went to LA.
Neither,
yeah, it's just been, and I know you've been going through a lot of stuff.
I've been going through a lot at work, so I've been so busy that I'm just like, as the newfies would say up here in Canada, get it in you.
Yeah,
just get it in you and keep moving, man. Developers. Yeah, just get it in you, keep moving, man. Because it's been that kind of a month.
Yeah, I mean, even too busy to go do our walks in the morning, and just too many excuses. And then I stepped on the scales, like, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. I'll get back to it, but yeah, still drinking 0 sugar A&W and water. But we'll get back. Thank you, Snow Dragon. Do you know the Broke Boy Insider? As another one, a $2 super chat says, USA Up All Night movies with Rhonda Shear. Well, I had USA back in the day, but I don't know who Rhonda Shear is.
Yeah, I remember the USA Network. Yeah, they always had fun shit. They always had fun movies on there. They were always edited for TV, which made it even funnier.
Yeah,
because like you watch.
I remember Arnold Schwarzenegger says BS in a movie, and he goes baloney.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so funny. I was watching a scene with. By the way, Happy Bomb. Better Off Dead is the best comedy of the 80s next to like maybe 16 Candles.
It is maybe so cheeseball, but it's so good.
Better Off Dead is absolutely. I still quote that movie now. Dude, I was skiing the other day. I was skiing like 2 weeks ago, and I sent a video to my brother because my brother and I was our favorite comedy movie was Better Off Dead with John Cusack. Mm-hmm. And I'm standing at the top of the mountain, and I point and I go, "Okay, Mike, this is what I'm going to do. Go down there really fast. And if anything gets in the way, turn.
Yeah.
So if you know the movie, you know that's that was like the big joke in the movie.
You ski the K-12, girls will go sterile just looking at you. Do you know the street value of this mountain? Yeah. I know the whole movie, and
snow everywhere. Yeah.
That's a shame throwing away a perfectly good white boy.
Yeah. What a fantastic movie.
I love that's what I love about the 80s is we all took pot shots at each other and we all laughed. It was so great. Yeah, in the movie John Cusack like falls his way into the back of a garbage truck, and these two like African American and black guys were like working on a power line, and they look down and they go, "What a shame, throw away a perfectly good white boy."
Yeah. And it's all funny. Do 16 candles now. 16 candles now with long duck dong. Like, try to do that now. You'd get arrested, for Christ's sake. Right to the woke police come for you. But, like, you can't even make jokes like that anymore. But, like, everybody made jokes about each other equally, and it was all good, man.
I think we're coming out of it. We're coming out of it. People are easing up a little bit. Yeah.
We're coming out of it
slowly. We appreciate you guys putting up with us in the chat. We got one more. We got James, the $2 says, thoughts on the possible Starfield PS5 leak? Let me look at my topics.
It's not a leak. It's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, it was always coming. Like Colt and I have been talking about it for a year, that they've been working on the PS5 port for over a year now. So if anybody says breaking news, the breaking news was right here on XNC with Mag and Colt, right there. We talked about this a long time ago. They've been working on it for quite a while. However, they're working on the timing of it because a lot of the timing has to do with the DLCs that were coming out for the Xbox and PC, right? And so they're trying to maneuver around there so that they release like a Game of the Year edition for the PlayStation and the PlayStation 5 Pro. It is coming out. It's just a matter of when. It's not going to be this year anymore, I don't think. I think they're going to push it to 2026.
I think it might be. But I don't know.
You think it'll actually make it? I don't think it's going to make it this year.
I think it might make it. I don't know anything, but the leak comes from the Creation Club that.
Yeah, because there was a. Yeah,
that holds on to that has the mods that are created by Bethesda and content creators, and a PS5 logo was in there from one of the official Bethesda mods or something like that. I didn't even actually look into it because when I see something like that, something leaked, like a PS5 logo leaked about Starfield, I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense. That's where you and I are sitting on that. I'm kind of with you, Mag.
For a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they're probably planning to put out the Starborn DLC at the end of 2025, and they're probably trying to figure out, should we just release Starfield on PS5 in September and say base game $70? If you want all the content, it's $110 or whatever it is in the US to get Shattered Space, the Starborn DLC. The reason why I don't, kind of hype that up is because typically, this might be a hot take, the majority of the DLC content for Fallout and Starfield, well, for Fallout games, aren't that great.
Shattered Space, I heard, was not very good at all.
Shattered Space was awful. And if you look back,
the trailer looks so good.
Yeah, and if you look back and take off the rose-colored lenses, right? Fallout 3's DLC, some of it was kind of crappy. Like Point Lookout was really good, and some of it's like when you think back, some of the DLC, like they do 4 packs of DLC for Fallout 3, they did 3 or 4 for Fallout 4, and like some of it just isn't really that good. But then there's like always the fan favorite, like Fallout 4's fan favorite was Far Harbor, and then the Nuka-Cola one was really good, but people didn't love it as much. So the reason why I said all that was they're planning Starborn DLC at the end of the year for Starfield, and I don't have a lot of confidence that their DLC Starborn is going to be really, really great, but I do have confidence that if they put out the game on PS5, even if you don't buy the DLC, the game has made so many strides over the past year or so that PS5 fans or returning fans for Starfield have a lot to look forward to. Oh, my contact's like ready to fall out of my eye.
Be funny if your actual eye fell out while you were talking.
Yeah. Just hangs
there.
Yeah,
exactly. Just right out of your head.
They got to push it back in. You know that like somebody gets hit really hard and their eyeball pops out and they have to squeeze it back in. It fits back in. Someone called me Squint Eastwood the other day. I remember when I went to get my contact lenses, they're like, can you show me? It's been like many years. And they're like, can you open your eye a little more? I'm like, how about like this? Any more? I'm like, like this?
There it is. That's Colteastwood's eyeball popping out of his head. Here it goes. Ready? There it is, out of his head. 10 gamer score for Colteastwood's eyeball popping out in the middle of a...
So I would vote that Starfield is getting its release on PS5 by the end of the year, like September or so. But
really?
Meg, you're thinking maybe they might not be ready or what?
Go January 2026. What do you got to lose? You got all these other games coming out. We've talked about this ad nauseum. I mean, you got GTA 6, you've got Call of Duty, you got Outer Worlds 2, you've got Ghost of Yotei, you've got Borderlands 4, you've got most likely Gears E-Day. You know what I mean?
Or Gears Trilogy, yeah.
Yeah, like how much crap are you going to shove in 3 months?
Well, Xbox already has a problem. Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of your sentence because I was so loud.
Then all of a sudden, you've got, I'm thinking you put Fable at the end of quarter 1, 26, or maybe quarter 2. Let's go quarter 2. So I'm thinking like April, May would be a good time to release Fable. And then before that, launch Starfield on PS5 in January when things are quiet.
Okay, because...
Why not?
April is South of Midnight and Claire Expedition 33 in Game Pass.
That's tomorrow, isn't it?
Expedition
33?
I am so
tomorrow, folks?
Yeah, I'm so blinded by like just playing Shadows.
Blinded by the shadows.
Yeah.
Chad, help us out, man. Does it come out tomorrow? I don't feel like typing.
I think the rumor is that Indiana Jones would probably get its announcement and release date in April sometime of this year, in weeks. And then Nate the Hate said that he is revising his information as it updates, that in April, I don't know, could it be mid-April or whatever, that we're going to get an announcement that Oblivion remake in Unreal Engine 5 exists and is either going to shadow drop or come out soon after. Like, at the very least, according to Nate the Hate, what he's saying, I'm going to translate the rest, is that they could have an announcement like this one day. It could be a Wednesday in April. They could say, pleased to announce Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion remake, all in Unreal Engine 5 from Bethesda and partner Virtual Studio. And it's coming out on the 17th or something like that. Like it comes out in a week or two from then. Or they could just say it comes out right now. You can buy it on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, etc.
I figured you'd make an event out of it. Like just turn it into a little something. Like put a little marketing campaign together. Just a small marketing campaign for the PlayStation.
Like chop somebody's head off the block and go, and then when the
head goes down,
there's a note on the neck hole that says April 17th. The guy's like,
it's just kind of like it's better than putting a sticky note on the fridge saying, by the way, Indiana Jones drops in 4 days. Like, you know what I mean? Like give it a little something.
Fun's guess is end of April. And I would say, when you have Claire Expedition at is Claire in March?
Dude, Expedition 30, is it 33? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That Expedition, it's tomorrow, I think.
Oh my gosh, I'm so out of it.
I think. Hold on.
I gotta drink 2 cans.
I haven't seen, but while you drink 2 cans, make sure you drink 2 cans of 4xpgaming.com, ladies and gentlemen. But you have to mix it yourself with your own can, and then you're gonna have to drink that. Drink 2 of those, and you're gonna be all good. You'll be able to catch up on all the games in 2025.
There's a link in the chat if you want to go to 4xp and buy their shaker or their steel cup, or the little what do they call them? I already forgot.
Like
the joysticks.
Joysticks. The joysticks. Yes.
Yeah.
I just got to announce that the chat is still rhyming off 80s movies. It has been 35 minutes.
Fonz, what is your quintessential 80s movie? Because I know there's one movie that is kind of modern that he says it's always his go-to. But what's your 80s movie quintessential? Because he is old like us. Fonz saying no, Cole. I'm saying if we don't get a second trailer for GTA 6, by the end of April, it ain't coming this year. We've talked a lot about GTA. Fonz is spot on because he's done some of that research that they're doing. Like the Grand Theft Auto 5 trailer dropped in April, and then they had the game set for that year, and it got a short delay. So they are saying the do or dies. If we don't get that trailer, that gameplay trailer for GTA 6 in April, that they have moved it to another year. And I agree.
It'll be most likely May because the investors report is going to be May 6th to May 8th. So if there's going to be anything there, like, you know what I mean? Like if there's going to be anything, it's going to be during that time.
Okay.
So don't look to April. I would look to the first week of May. Because like I said, the investors meeting I'm going to go to the investors meeting, not in person. I'm going to stay on the line for it. Okay. And I'm going to listen in on it, and I'll know what's going on. So if something happens, something goes down, you'll know from me what's happening because I will be on that call. So it's an investors call, May 6th to May 8th. Is it May 6th to May 8th? I got to check the calendar. But either way, don't matter. It's the first week of May. I know that for sure. But I have to check my calendar first so I don't screw that up and I don't miss it. Because that would be really stupid if I missed it.
When you were saying back to Oblivion, which is kind of like the track we were on, you were saying they need to make like an event, not just like drop this as a tweet, because I feel like Xbox has kind of been like, hey, everyone's on Twitter. And like, no, they're not. I mean, it's not Xbox. It's Bethesda's announcement. And like, I don't know. What would you do?
Oblivion?
What would you do if you were going to take an it's almost 19-year-old beloved game? It's ready to
Don't shadow drop it.
Don't shadow drop it.
Okay. No, you announce it so that you give people time to either want to buy it or you give people enough time who are not subscribed to Game Pass to subscribe to Game Pass and just say, okay, you know what? I'm going to subscribe to Game Pass and play this game because I want to play it, or buy the game outright.
So announce it in April and say it comes out in the first part of May.
Give them a month. Give them a month.
Okay.
I think a month is a good amount of time. Do a little bit of advertising in there, whatever. Don't shortchange it. And that's the problem. I find a lot of times with Xbox, they shortchange their advertising. It's not good. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. You look at Nintendo, you look at Sony, they put marketing. They put marketing first and foremost. Subways in New York City are covered in Spider-Man. You know, God of War to go back to 2018, they got God of War on the basketball courts at halftime or whatever. Like they have bombastic advertising. They did a little bit, like Xbox did a little bit of it. Like Halo Infinite, I remember Halo Infinite was in Times Square, and then they had Gears 5 was in Piccadilly Circus in London. Shout out to my UK folks.
Look at you for saying that correctly.
Yeah, so like they did have some of that stuff, but it's just such a flash in the pan, and then it's gone. Like you just got to hammer people with marketing, and you'll get people interested. People be like, "What the hell is that? I want to see what that is now." You got to have it constant advertisements. I remember here in Toronto, they had a giant Series X floating in Lake Ontario. Did you ever hear about that?
I didn't.
They didn't even say a damn word about it. Everybody's like, what the hell is that? It was like a giant black monolith. It looked like from like 2001 A Space Odyssey, right? And I'm like, that looks like a Series X. And I kind of laughed about it. And then guess what? It was a Series X.
And you were like, they're marketing.
I was like, holy crap, they're doing marketing? I was so blown away. So my cousin went by on his bike because he was like riding by the lakeshore and like whatever, and then he took a picture next to it. There's this gigantic floating Series X in the city of Toronto. Do stuff like that. But they gotta advertise this game. I say give it a month, advertise it, get people interested, and people who've never played it. Let's face it, Colt. How many years has it been? 18 years. It's a whole new generation of gamers. What are you laughing at?
I'm looking at the picture of. It's a Series X standing up on like a rectangular barge out in the middle of the.
In the middle of the did you see it?
Lake Ontario or whatever it is.
Lake Ontario was floating out of Lake Ontario, and I'm sitting there going, "Why is there a giant Series X floating?
It's like,
are we being attacked by the Americans?"
Xbox has no games.
You know what I was thinking it was? I was thinking it was a Trojan horse that the Americans sent, and then when the Series X comes, the door opens and like Phil Spencer and the sweaty guy and
Satya Nadella,
Greenberg, Satya, they all come out with swords to try and attack us. Yeah, it's like, damn it, we knew that Series X was a Trojan horse. Anyways,
and then the Canadians are like, I mean, you're just welcome to come in.
Yeah, it's just, you guys can just come in and have a bagel.
Speaking of that,
have a coffee.
Did you see Xbox's marketing ploy the other day where they had a baker create a Series X out of chocolate chip cookie?
That's hilarious. No,
he stacked up 4 walls and then did it twice. So he had the rectangular prism all made with chocolate chip cookie dough. Put it in the oven. It barely fit, because it's like this tall. Put it in the oven, and after 35 minutes, it dropped into a lake of cookie. Just made like a big, like this thick, like just a.
That's hilarious.
And Xbox like, oh, it's funny. It didn't work. It didn't cook. And I'm like, this is an allegory for the Xbox console. It's like, stand tall, the biggest cookie, the most powerful, and we don't care about the console anymore. And then it's just like this big. And I thought, I was surprised. I like skimmed through I thought everyone's going to say, yeah, that's pretty much the Xbox console generation. And of course we're joking, but like, I know you can make stuff cute and funny, but don't be on the nose like
take it so seriously. I got some Oblivion news.
Steve Ballmer's like
to me.
Cookie. What? You got some what?
Maybe he's had a few too many cookies. Maybe that's why he's sweating so much when he's on the stage there.
Mm-hmm.
I just got news that there will be at the moment, there's no Switch 2 port of Oblivion.
Really?
For the Oblivion remake, yes. I just got that word right now. So the Switch 2 will not be getting a port. Obviously, the person I speak to is listening to the show. So hit me up with something while I'm on the air here. So I'm looking down at it, and I'm like, oh, hello. So and I'm like, what is he saying here? He's like, no Switch 2 port of Oblivion remake at the moment.
Okay, if he's claiming that would kind of be reasonable, since that month, if Elder Scrolls Oblivion remake gets announced in April, so does the Nintendo Switch 2. So
but the Switch
I would
2
say
won't be coming out
releases
till at least June.
Yeah, I would say releases that come out around early spring are probably might not have ports ready.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could have ports of games ready, but they just release them later for the system.
Nathan Lehair says, "Is Oblivion for sure coming out this year?" From what we've heard several times, yes.
Yes, 100% coming out this year.
And I know it's not official, and I know it's not proven or confirmed by anybody other than a trusted insider like Nate the Hate. But at this point, I would say, and Mag,
jerks.
Nathan, I would say that I would well expect Oblivion remake to be available to player purchase in the coming 2 to 3 months at least.
Yes.
Nate the Hate thinks it's going to be coming out very soon. Sorry, I'll let you get this in a second.
No, go ahead.
You and I said before that it made sense that it would come out around June and kind of an off time when everything is so packed. It's kind of, I think it's really dumb to release Oblivion remake in April when their own window is already packed full of games. So I'm kind of with Meg. Why not say it's coming out in a month or so, or have it closer to June? But we could be wrong. Sorry.
My original report that I heard, it was that it was going to be announced in June, which would to me, I translated that as the June showcase, and then either be shadow dropped right there or that month or sometime in July. But then Nate went back and he said he's heard a revised business plan that it's going to be being released before June. Right. So, I mean, things change. I mean, we know that all the time. They're like, okay, well, we're doing a release date for this. And then all of a sudden it gets either shifted forward or backward or whatever. Right. So my original report was that it was going to be announced in June and then launched somewhere between June and August. right? So like let's say June and July. But then Nate came back just what was it like a week ago, and he was like, yeah, no, it's been revised. It's coming out sooner than that. So it's like it's coming out before June. I'm like, okay, well there it is. I think that's a mistake. Personally,
I do too.
mean, they got too many games that are coming in. I think that June would be the perfect time to drop it, so that you've got June and July to yourself before Mafia 4 comes out in August, right? So that being the case, you've got a good 2 months there where there's nothing, right? And then I mean, we still don't even know where Ghost of Yotei is, because I know that PlayStation's going to be launching that game somewhere between now and December, but you know they did say 2025, and it is confirmed. So, and that's a huge game. I don't care what people say.
Yeah,
people
and Death Stranding is
going to be a massive game.
And Death Stranding is at the end of June, and it's not just when you can buy it and start playing it. Like Oblivion's a game you might play for a month, you know, if you.
But also, don't forget that. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But like Death Stranding 2 is exclusive, right? To exclusive. So as a result of that, it's closed its doors on the the PC and Xbox side of things. Right.
Yeah, Death Stranding 1 went to PC 6 months after its launch, according to what I looked up.
Something like that. And then like 2 years later for Xbox, I think it was. Was it 2 years?
Something like that, or maybe 3 years. I can't remember, but
3 years? Jesus.
I think actually it was 5 years to come to Xbox.
Get out of here.
But that's different.
I don't know what it's gonna. I bet you anything, it
came out last year. Yeah, 2019 to 2024. Yeah, 5 years.
Good Lord, eh? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but
I don't think the second one will be that long. I think it'll be within a year. It'll go over to the other system.
Maybe. I mean, Kojima owns the IP, but PlayStation paid for the exclusivity deal. But you could see Death Stranding 2 on PC by January, if you care.
Like Stellar Blade, is Stellar Blade a permanent? Like, was Stellar Blade a permanent, or was that a timed?
Stellar Blade was published by PlayStation, so that will probably never come to Xbox. Yeah,
it'll never come. Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure how that worked out. Anyways, I think that a good time to launch it would be the beginning of June. I say you drop it right at the showcase, or around that time of the showcase. You give everybody about a solid 3 weeks to a month of leeway, because not everybody's going to play Death Stranding 2. It looks fantastic, but it is still not everybody's game, so to speak. Right? I don't think it has that. I don't think it has that mass appeal that you like a Call of Duty or a Gears of War, or you know what I mean, or like an Uncharted or whatever. Like those games are more mass appeal related. This one is a little bit more niche. Involved, right? Yeah, a little more niche. So I think that Oblivion. I mean, you could say that about Oblivion too. It's an RPG. Not everybody plays RPGs. However, RPGs are incredibly popular. And if this thing looks and plays fantastic, I think it's got the chance to have to be quite the hit. I could think so, but
and this is like
it's really got to land.
This is Bethesda's last couple of entries here for a little bit. They're going to put out Oblivion, and if it's in April, and then Doom: The Dark Ages the next month, and then id and Bethesda Softworks are going to be pretty quiet until Elder Scrolls. I don't think they have a lot of stuff.
What about, in the pipeline. Who's doing? Oh no, sorry, Outer Worlds is no, that's not them. Never mind. Sorry, that's not Bethesda.
Obsidian. They might be quiet for a while after this year as well.
Yeah.
Do you know the Brook Boy Insider? Thank you so much for the $2 super. Says Adam Falls coming March 27th, and Jax82 with a $5 super chat gives us the release dates that I didn't have memorized. He says South of Midnight is April 8th. Claire Expedition 33 is April 24th. 33 Immortals, which we don't talk about, is a partnered quasi-exclusive on Xbox, is out tomorrow, and Adamfall is March 27th. And all of that he just said is on Game Pass. Xbox is absolutely stacked to the brim. To the brim. Here. Yeah.
Oh, I see 33 Immortals. Okay, I was getting it mixed up for some reason with
it's a top-down. You can have up to 33 people playing. It's kind of like a...
It's not for me. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, I remember seeing it.
I previewed it at the Xbox event a couple of years ago, and I'm like, oh, this isn't something I would play. But some people are really excited about it. But that's the thing. Like,
to each their own. I would never crap on someone else's opinion. If they love it, go for it.
Yeah,
man.
Go for it. And when I was on Spawnwave on Spawncast, we brought up the Death Stranding thing, the Death Stranding 2, and his panel members were like, they were just like you, Mag. They were like, Death Stranding is like, it's really impressive looking and people really like it. Good on them. It's not really for me. And I was like, that is so refreshing, because we live in such a world where everyone's like, if I don't like it, everyone has to know, and you can't like it either.
Like, I don't understand that. Like
don't either.
the first one didn't interest me. So why would the second one interest me unless they completely change the gameplay mechanic to something else, right? But if it's the same kind of game, it just might not be my thing. Maybe if I sat down and played it, but I'm not drawn to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not drawn to the game. Like, for example, you got Metal Gear Solid 3 remake or Delta, whatever the hell it's called, coming out this year. That I'm instantly drawn to because that is I played all the Metal Gears and I love them. And I really enjoy the stealth gameplay and whatever else. And the what is it? Tactical military espionage, as it's called. I love that stuff. Right?
They're still talking about 80s movies in the chat.
I saw Flashdance just show up in the chat.
Jumping Jack Flash, same old fire. Epic Treasures in the chat. Movies. Shout out to her. She said Short Circuit. Short Circuit, Mag. Speaking of how people used to just make jokes.
That was Johnny
80s.
5.
People used to make jokes back then, and it was okay. It was funny.
Because the guy was character, Indian and he had like a hardcore Indian accent.
Yeah, and he was an American guy. He played an Indian. He just had an accent, and
But it was so over the top on the nose.
Yeah, it was like
I won't even do it because someone's gonna cancel me.
Yeah, I would need to practice to do an Indian accent, and you know what? I think it's okay to do an accent. That's how people sound.
I could do it, but people get pissed off, and
why would they?
Still, we're a good movie.
My kids get mad when I do accents. They hate it, and I'm like, it's fun. It's fun.
Jesus. I just look at the chat. 1 second. Tim Richards already said something. Look at it. Or Mag is drawn to rough men with eye patches. First of all, how did you even find that out? How did you even find out?
Bro.
Like when I go to a masseuse, I prefer men.
I
prefer the touch of a man when it comes to massage.
Magnum says, Colt, discuss the Forza Japan thing RGT brought up on Spawnwave. I mean, I've got it in probably 8 videos, but the rumor is that Forza Horizon 6 is in Tokyo. The pessimist in me says it's going to take place in Ohio or something.
It's first of all, I think we can maybe move away from the idea of it coming. I don't think there's going to be any more surprises for games this year. That's just my personal opinion. It's not a fact. It's not an insider thing. I just think that they're done announcing games for 25.
Oh, that's fair.
A lot of people reach out to me. A lot of people reaching out to me going, Mac, Forza Horizon, it's got to be coming out this year because look at the timeline. And I'm like, guys, I really don't think so.
But
I don't think
all of the Forzas got announced at Showcase and came out at the end of the year.
True. But like, why would you do that to yourself?
What if
the Forza Horizon 5 thing?
Yes, they're going
everybody hyped for it.
Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PS5 at the very end and on the 29th of April. What if they were pretty sure that Forza Horizon 6 was ready for 25 and then the other Playground studio says, there's no way we're shipping Fable. And then Xbox is like, all right, Playground Horizon, are you guys good? And we're like, yeah, we're good. And we're like, okay, well, a whole month just opened up. So if you guys are ready, we can get a trailer ready for Showcase because you guys have the end of 2025.
Well, you could do this. You could and the thing is maybe that, the launch of Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation is strategic to get people interested on that side of the fence who haven't played Forza Horizon. And then all of a sudden you get them and you get the PlayStation players playing Forza Horizon and go, wow, this is pretty awesome. And they're like, well, if you think that is awesome, guess what? In 7 months, a brand new Forza is coming out for, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, whatever, and on, for all systems and whatever. And then you might get a lot of people going, holy crap. So this was awesome. Let's see what this is going to do. So, it's a distinct possibility because, you want to ride off that momentum, right?
Yeah.
You start off with that momentum in the spring. I think it's going to sell really well on the PlayStation, to be quite honest.
Oh, it already is. Well. Like the $100 version is selling really well on PlayStation. And by all rights, it should. It's one of the greatest driving games you can buy.
And Sony has a history of a lot of racing fans on there because even the last
Gran Turismo 7 did really well.
Gran Turismo 7 did incredibly well.
Did you buy it?
And no, I never bought it, but my neighbor actually got a PSVR 2, and I'm not gonna buy one, but he got one for super cheap. He got a refurbished one, and he got it for super cheap, and I'm like, you know what? Because I have the Resident Evil games, and I'm like, It's got Dorito dust all over the lenses. Anyways, yeah, I got
You take it off, you have orange.
Developers. Yeah. What I was thinking of doing is buying Gran Turismo because I heard that Gran Turismo on the PSVR 2 is amazing.
Yeah.
So
Nick
I'm
Marseille swears by it.
I kind of want to do it, dude.
I kind of want him to put that game on PC because then I could play it on my MetaQuest 3 at full fidelity.
Oh yeah, because you could.
And I have the racing seat.
You could do the virtual dashboard, right, on your on the MetaQuest, right? Because you can access your you can access your VR games.
Game Seeker sent me the cable so I can run it straight to my PC and utilize the graphics power there, and then I could bring in my racing seat again with the MetaQuest.
So Gran Turismo 7 is available on PC?
I said I wish it was.
Oh, sorry, I missed that part. I thought you said it was. Never mind. I apologize. Yeah, no, that'd be so dope. But anyways, I'm kind of on the fence with it. Anyways, the point is that a lot of people play Gran Turismo 7. There's a huge fan base for racing games on the PlayStation. Then you know what? And if you're saying it's pre-selling well, Forza Horizon 6 multi-platform would that'd be gangbusters.
Tim Richards says he only uses one lens. Let's be honest, you pirate-loving fella, you.
I have two eyes still, okay? It's not my fault that my preferred taste in men only have one eye. That's their problem. So they only get I get 130 frames per second per eye. They only get 130 frames per second, period. They only got one eye. But anyways, at least they got a parrot that can say things.
King Webb with the crazy
Colt's a grifter. Colt's an X-bot. Sorry, Colt's a liar. I'm just repeating like what videos I see on YouTube.
I said something to my wife and she goes, "You're a liar," and I go, "What? I wouldn't lie about that." She goes, "You're just like those pictures they make of you." And I go, "What?" And she goes, "With the long nose." I'm like, "Dang it, so true." Yeah.
It's so funny. Like I'll just scroll through like Twitter or like YouTube, and all of a sudden I see your face, and I'm like, "Oh, what's Colt up to?" And I'm like, "That's not Colt." And I realize it's someone else's video talking about you or whatever, right? I'm just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, it's got like 400 views. Guys, like really killing it. Yeah. No one cares. No one cares about what I said. Like no one cares. Don't make videos about me.
I'm gonna make a video about you this week.
It's Boner Jams. So we need to go on the show one of these Wednesday nights. Boner Jams, the super chat with the $5 says, "Wanted to thank Mag for the blue chews and the used Sif socks for St. Patrick's Day. What an absolute pleasure. Have a great week to all the maniacs." Please check out UTB, buddy. Under the Bus podcast on YouTube every Wednesday night, or check them out on demand and just watch the they're just talking about whatever. I guess my brother, I'm like, "What do you guys like? What's your format like? Because like, what do you say? Like, what are we doing here tonight?" He's like, "Just whatever." And it's crazy. I wish we could do that. They're so great. And Boner Jams, I was glazing up your podcast earlier about how you guys bring on like the TikToks or the Instagram reels and react to them. I was laughing. I was in a hotel watching your show on my phone, laughing my butt off. You guys are amazing. So check them out.
There's a lot of funny chat. Nukem, I see in the chat, buddy.
Oh, shout out
How's it going, man? How's it going? Yeah, I see a lot of funny comments in here, but you know, Maverick's not wrong, man. He's saying Lady Dimitrescu in VR. Oh, like she can stomp on me with her heels any day.
She's like 8 foot tall.
That's perfect. I love that.
The last time I played Resident Evil 8, she was following me around, just slowly marching, going, God. "I told you one last time," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm about to bust."
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? If it was me in the real life, I'd be like, "I've been a bad boy." I'd just be sitting there. "You can spank me now, Mrs. Dimitrescu." Yeah. Oh my God.
Like this?
God. Yeah, I know. I've been a naughty boy. Looks like you're gonna have to chase me around the bed. Oh my God. She's so hot. Anyways. Yeah. I want to like. I can't wait to do that.
Has your wife ever watched the show?
All those games. Dude, I own all those games on the PlayStation, so I can play them with the VR. I just got to borrow my neighbor's VR. But the thing is, I kind of want that. I wanted that Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Because I want to race. I mean, I race in real life sometimes for fun, but like, I mean,
well,
you know.
What, you don't normally play racing games, or you just?
Well, I mean, I do. But you know what? By the way, They have an opportunity here. Why not put Forza Horizon 5 and then have a VR port of it?
Bro,
come on, man.
Bro, in the chat, they are like deep cuts. Roy's Toys for Big Boy says Secret of the Nim, and then that reminded
Jonathan
Phantom
Frisbee.
Beat of Watership Down, a movie that I only barely remember as a 9-year-old or 8-year-old. It was a cartoon about rabbits like trying not to die from farmers, which is also like farmers like killing rabbits.
Secret of Nim.
And
Secret of Nim was the mice, right?
The mice. Yeah, and it's so creepy. It's Don Bluth who left Disney, and it's like freaking crazy. Absolutely crazy.
That, man. This is Mrs. Jonathan Frisbee. Oh, Mrs.
So
Jonathan
good.
Frisbee. Yeah, it was so good. Epic
Some of
Treasure.
the best animation.
I see what you're saying there, Epic Treasure. But yes, you're absolutely right.
Speaking
Whatever Lady Dimitrescu wants, she gets.
Gosh, Meg's his vices are really showing.
Oh,
Epic
dude,
Treasure, thank you for the Australian $2 says, happy St. Patrick's Day, all. Me Puppet with the $2 super says, Animal House and Die Hard, best Christmas movies ever.
Yeah,
lots of great,
Die Hard's
good
the greatest Christmas movie ever made.
Snow
and
Dragon.
You know what else is a Christmas movie? Gremlins.
Gremlins is a great Christmas movie.
Takes place on Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Gremlins. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Snow
Another
Dragon
great
with
Christmas movie. Yep.
With the Canadian 2. Will series consoles get the new hybrid PC OS? That's a topic for another day, but yeah, I would think maybe
for another day.
I think that Xbox would support the Xbox Series
will.
consoles for a while. So
PlayStation,
yeah.
I don't think so. I think PlayStation's going to remain as it is.
Yeah.
A closed-off platform because they have massive success with it. So why mess with success? I'm not saying that for any other reason. I'm not saying but Xbox, I can absolutely see the integration in there in the new system, and that's been hinted at so many times now that it's practically made itself fact at this point. But once we get more info and we could put it all together in a cohesive package, we will discuss it on this very show. I'm sure of it.
Okay. KY Bob with the $5 super chat says, Colt, when are we going to get Mag wearing earbuds so we can see those ears? Laugh out loud. Good show with good friends. Love it. He gets the old classic, love it. He reached out to me. He's like, Colt, I was helping him with his overlay for his show. Check out their podcast. And I'm like, you got to hold this button and do this. He's like, yes, that was it. Meg, you should get some earbuds. But you probably like having the big over-the-ear thing.
I don't like earbuds. I don't wear earbuds when I work out. I have over-the-ear headphones for everything because I can't stand it. I can't stand the buds, man. They drive me nuts. They fall out of my head. And they're just not comfortable. They it doesn't give me an enveloping sound, right? Like where the over-the-ear headphones gives me a full enveloping sound. So it sounds like Colt Eastwood is sitting next to me when I'm talking.
I mean, look how big my ears are. When I was skinnier, they used to stick out like this. But then as I got fat, it kind of like pulled them back where they should be.
Well, developers.
My dad's ears stick out like this too. And when I was younger, he would grow his hair out so it covered him. My dad looks like Mo from Three Stooges.
Yeah, but, Epic Treasure, same thing, man. It sucks, man. I need the she has the same troubles. I need over-the-ear headphones. And like I said, when I exercise, I have the Beats studio headphones with the over-the-ears. Same deal, man. And I know a lot of people wear their buds, but the thing with the buds, I could still hear what's going on around me. If I'm exercising, I don't want to hear the guy next to me making business calls on his phone going, yeah, Johnson, buy 17 more stocks at $14.95.
He's on the treadmill. Developers.
Yeah. Developers with his dress shirt on, sweating. And I don't want to hear that. And he goes, well, you tell Johnson that if I don't, he can go to hell for $14.99.
If I don't have Johnson on my desk by 5 p.m. Yeah. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Do you know the Broke Boy Insider? Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It says, it's funny seeing the PlayStation fanboys in the chat. I didn't know we had them here, but he says they must not realize that PlayStation released a first-party game on March 13th, Midnight Murder Club. Not realizing that they did, though. Only 54 players on Steam. What he's referring to is I was making those lists, and they insisted I include Midnight Murder Club, which is a multiplayer, asymmetrical game that's in early access on Steam and coming to PlayStation because PlayStation is publishing it. And it is not a good game. It's a 63 out of 100 on Steam right now. And I would suppose when it gets its Metacritic reviews on PS5, it won't be much better. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. That, you know, be careful what you wish for is kind of what that's getting at. I got to ask you about this Copilot.
My hat was getting sweaty. I had to change hats.
Oh, I didn't see because I was reading.
I had my 4XP hat, which I wear. I even wear my 4XP hat when I do my live streams and everything, eh? So I always wear it there, and when I do my videos. But it was starting to get sweaty because we've been very active and very animated tonight. So I should
wear a hat on the show. I just feel like it would feel weird since I never wear one.
I have to wear a hat because, I mean, I got my lighting and stuff, and I've got 3 floodlights doing their, you know, studio lights doing their things. But the thing is, if I take this hat off, you're gonna get blinded, right? By like, look at this
blinded by the light. No, I'm not blinded. It's such a good look, man.
Well, I mean, it's all I got.
Yeah, I like it.
So I got to
put an eye patch on, and I'll be over by 7.
Wow, there we go. I thought that was my thing. Anyways, what do you want?
Let me ask you about this Copilot thing real quick.
Copilot, yes.
Satya said that you could turn this feature on, and you can talk in your headset and say, "Hey, how do I get carbon wood? I'm trying to, you know." I'm trying to craft in this game. How do I find carbon wood, or how do I craft it? And then a box pops up over your game and says, carbon wood can be found in the Riverdale area.
Yeah.
And I know people freaked out. And I was like, man, we don't want this. And then I was like, do you know how many times I've set down my controller and I have to unlock my phone? I know it sounds stupid, but unlock my phone, go Google, try and find the right link, scrub through some YouTube video or some wiki guide or something with ads popping up everywhere, when I could just say, how do I craft this material in the game? Or how do I find the steel door in level 3 of Batman something, whatever. Does that interest you at all? Do you think that could be something that could be helpful for gamers? It's an on and off thing, but what was your reaction to that?
Yeah, I think like for asking questions and stuff like that, I don't think that's really. I think that would take you out of the gaming experience. I think that it would be better suited that what we had talked about a few weeks ago. Remember we talked about how the utilization of AI, like with like NPCs or with like tailoring the experience to towards your personality and the choices that you make in the game, and it can sort of mold things a little bit differently and evolve based on your decisions. I think that that's really cool. I think that that's really cool, like I said, for multiple reasons, because your experience will be different than mine, because you may react to a situation entirely different than the way I react to a situation. When put under duress, I may act one way and you may act a completely different way. And as a result, our experiences will be completely different. I think that that's very cool. As for asking questions or whatever else, yeah, it's good. It's interesting. But at the same time, it kind of pulls you out of the experience. And all of a sudden, you're in this fantasy world, you're doing all this stuff. And all of a sudden you're like, yeah, hey, dude, can you tell me where I can get this wood from and whatever? And like, it just kind of takes you out of the experience. I think. And I mean, I know people take themselves out of the experience by Googling an answer and be like, oh, crap, where do I find this werewolf? And then you like have to look it up and then the map and like, oh, okay, he's over there in this part of the map or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like setting down my controller and grabbing my phone. It's like I will walk around for half an hour lost, and then I'm like, fine, I'll set my controller around, grab my phone, and take myself out of the experience.
And then look it up and be like, okay, the werewolf is hiding behind this wall over here or this and that. Yeah, I get it. But for that, like I said, I kind of like the idea better of it more integrated into the actual game itself, where it keeps the story seamless and it keeps the AI informative, but at the same time still envelops you in the experience that you're playing. And I think that that's much more suited for what it would be. So like you would get the information, but done in a way that it would still be as if like an NPC's talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Like an NPC, like you can go up to someone and ask them a question or this and that. I think that would be very cool, as opposed to saying, hi, chat AI, whatever. Can you tell me where this wood comes from or this and that? And then all of a sudden it's like, this wood was invented in 1496 and it was, and you could go get it over here and that. I think it would be better if it was somehow integrated into the story. I mean, would you use it as purely as a guide function? Because right now, they haven't said a lot about integrated creative NPCs. Right now I said 9 times. Right now the guide answering like thing is what Satya was sharing. Like, I don't like to pick up my phone, but would you be willing to have a pop-up over your screen
with the word saying you can find that material by going to the Riverdale area in
If it's not intrusive, then sure, but I don't see myself utilizing it that much.
Okay.
Like,
Laird Bone in the chat was like so happy that somebody finally acknowledged him. You know, sometimes people will come into podcasts.
I acknowledged him an hour ago.
Yeah, they'll come into these chats and they're like, they'll say rude things, or they'll say controversial things, or they'll say things that are trying to get a rise out of people. They're like, pay attention to me. You know, when I'm at work, no one talks to me. No one ever pays attention to me. When I go on social media, I don't get any likes, or I don't get any response. Nobody follows me because, you know, I'm always negative. And he kept saying things like Xbox is dead. And I'm like, I mean, if he's been paying attention to the show for any amount of time, he'd see that Xbox is bigger than it's ever been. We already proved that they are absolutely just decimating the games roadmap. For people who are looking to buy or play games, Xbox is providing almost the majority of the games. Their publishing arm this year, if you look at just 2025, they're putting out 10 to 12 games. Almost 15 games, you include the games that are coming on, that are landing on PlayStation. So if you're looking at what games you're looking to play this year, a good chunk of them are coming from Xbox. And you can be excited about how many games PS5 sells. You could tout that number, like, look at how many of those sold, even though I bought one, and that's all I need. And who cares how many Kia Souls get sold as long as I like my car? But, you know, it's just, the industry has changed where it is really about how and what you get to play. And I'll remind this guy. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm here. We're going to. He's so stupid. We're going to put him in timeout. He's so stupid that he's using like single-digit IQ responses about Game Pass. You know, we'll he's done for the rest of the show. He's an idiot. He's a moron. But anyway, yeah. I mean, our chat is so amazing. You guys are such great gaming fans, and you are so excited about the choice of games that we have offering for you. And Meg and I talking about this Copilot thing. Like, we don't want intrusive stuff when it comes to AI.
No, I don't want
Meg and I want, like, make the NPCs react to us if we say something in the headset. But I will tell you, you may not use it, Meg, but if there's a feature I can turn on my Xbox or my PC on the Xbox app and say, how do I find this in the game? Or how do I find this location? Or how do I beat this boss? And it says, you need to make sure that you parry on every blah, blah, blah. I will probably turn that on, and it might be a feature I enjoy, because I am the type of gamer that I will, for an hour, I'll be frustrated. Finally, I'll say, fine, I will ask. You got me.
I will try
I will
it.
ask.
I will try it. It's not like I'm not going to try it. I'm going to be like, all right, let's give it a shot. And if I find that it's actually adds in a positive way, I'll be like, all right, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. It's not intrusive. It's not stopping my gameplay. It's not slowing me down. It's not doing any of that stuff. Great. Let's just do that. I will continue to use that, because then you're absolutely right. At one point, I won't have to look away from the screen, right? And then pick up my phone and then be like, oh crap, hold on a second. Pause the game, go on my phone, watch a YouTube video for 2 minutes, right? Like, watch a little clip that someone puts together of, this is how you upgrade this weapon. You're like, oh crap, that's where you get this part. It's behind the bush or whatever, right? And so, like, little things like that, it makes sense. So yeah, I can see that, but I mean, it's not like I'd say no. I just want to give it a shot first and see how it is, and then. But it's not in front of us as we speak. It's just something that they're talking about, and it could take years before they implement it properly. What are you laughing at?
I mean, maybe the first part of it works pretty good, but Noise FOMO goes, "Hey Copilot, mute Mag."
Who said that?
Noise FOMO.
Noisy Mofo. Listen,
Noisy Mofo. Sorry, yeah, Noisy Mofo. Yeah, I forget about the capital Z. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I know. Yeah, I know. He's actually, whenever I do a live stream, he's just, no, I would never do that. He's one of the first people that show up in my live streams almost every time I'm on there. He's there. Although, I think you missed the last one. I'm not sure. I didn't see you in the last one. But anyways, either way.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Sorry, I hid that guy, but I actually, we've been doing this show, you and I have been doing this show together for like almost 2 years. And I don't I never get bent out of shape when someone's like, Game Pass, Xbox is dead. And it's so dumb. Like, I just ignore it because it's so stupid. But like, he wanted attention so bad. He wanted it so bad. I gave him what he wanted. But you guys are amazing.
I don't get bent out of shape about any of that stuff anymore. I just ignore it now. Like, it's just like, even someone talked crap about my my last video. and they said something nasty in the chat and in the comments, and I was just like, okay, whatever. I didn't even like read it. I read half of it and I just moved on, and then I never went back to it. I'm like, all right, whatever.
You and I've watched the outrage about Xbox's changes and stuff for so long, where you kind of get an even temperature after a while, and like I've said many times in my comments, people are like, Xbox is dead. How could they do this to us? And but for the most part, people are like, I just want games. And Xbox made us wait far too long. And now, like Epic Treasure says, there's too many games. I'm drowning. It's ridiculous this year. I could have done this whole podcast. You and I could have just talked about 2025, and we would have eaten up an entire 2 hours. But special thanks to 4XP for being a sponsor of this channel. We really appreciate them. Mag, you're an amazing co-host. Thank you so much for being here.
Friend.
Letting people know
wonderful.
what your plans are for the week, for the channel, and then we'll reconvene on Monday.
Okay, absolutely. But before I do any of that, I will do that, and then when I'm done that, you've got like 3 more super chats to get in there, and gifted memberships came in as well. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, it was a great show tonight. We had a lot of fun. We went an hour early today because of real life stuff. But you know what? You can find me at the Mag Show. The link will be in the description. The link is in the link is in the description of the show, and I'm sure someone will drop it live right now, where you can see all my videos. They're starting to gain some traction, man. I'm really enjoying the fact that like the last 2 or 3 videos are getting like, upwards of 2,000 views per and stuff, and like people are starting to come around and check it out, and I'm really happy about that. You can catch me there. I usually drop 1 or 2 videos a week. I also live stream at least twice a week as well, which it kind of turns into like a one-man podcast where like people ask me questions while I'm gaming, and I'm more than happy to talk about stuff while I'm gaming and having great time and having fun. People are like, Mag, what do you think about this game? Mag, are we going to see a Fallout 3 remake and whatever? And we talk, and I said, treat it like a podcast, man. So come by, ask questions, have some fun, watch the gameplay. I will be playing Split Fiction all week with my son, Wolfman. We'll be doing that. And then very soon, the week after, most likely, I will start streaming again with Chef Trouble. That would be my wife, right? So, but that'll be a lot of fun where we do the other segment called Till Death Do Us Part. That's another show that I do on the channel. So anyways, you can find me at The Mag Show. You can find me at Middle Age Game Guy, of course, on Twitter, X, and all that jazz. And on the PlayStation and Xbox, you can find me at I Am The Mag, all capital letters. Anyways, everybody have a great week. Thank you for all the support as always, and we'll talk to you after. Colt, off to you. You got a couple super chats to get to, buddy.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm really proud of you, bro. And watching the stuff, watching the videos get more views is, it's so great.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah,
people are amazing. Thank you guys for supporting what we do. Do you know Broke Boy? Did I get? Yeah, I did get that one. Do you know the Broke Boy gifted Chen? That's funny. I said that for Red Wolf. He loves it when I mess up words. He gifted 10 channel memberships. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Matthew in the chat with a $2.49 says Xbox is better. And we appreciate that. BT Maverick also gifted 5 channel memberships. Grandpa's Barbecue Game Cat with Australian 5 says AI has an RPG game of the decade written all over it. AI as an RPG game. Yeah, if you could talk organically to your characters in an RPG, it would blow up. Like imagine Twitch streamers, imagine people talking about their organic experiences. It could be the real deal. Yeah. Special thanks to Happy Bomb and Udati for modding tonight. We really appreciate you. We've got Do You Know Brook Boy with another one with another 5. Thank you so much. He says Game Developers Conference has a topic at the conference on Wednesday titled Grow Your Audience with the Updated Xbox Experience on PC. Thoughts or comments? That's kind of on the Xbox dashboard. We'll save it for next week. You guys have been absolutely amazing. As for me on the channel, I might try and work up some type of video this week, but keep in mind, Thursday night when I'd be working on gaming weekly news for Friday, I will be en route to Chicago for the weekend. So I might not have a video this week. I'm so sorry. But I'll be playing Shadows and lots of other stuff. Thank you guys so much. Mag, thank you for being patient. As I said all that, let's get out of here and we'll do this again next week. Thank you so much. Follow Mag. His stuff's in the description. Check out 4XP to get your favorite energy drink. Bye, guys. We're out.
See you later. Have a great night.